Hello. Tell me that's working now. Oh my god. When you hit the play button and YouTube goes, yeah, no, streaming's we're not working right now, I'm afraid, so sorry. Oh, anyway. I think I literally just finished my coffee as I was logging in. I'll have to take a break at some point to go and get some more coffee. Who's here? Brenda, Burgess, Angie, hi. Give everybody a minute to get settled. Because I had to change the link, so everybody who's followed the first link will have to wait to get the notification to follow the second link, because that's the way YouTube works these days. Assuming everybody gets the link. I probably should post on Instagram a second. Oh, okay. Here we go. Live on YouTube's. Oh, everything I've logged into this morning, they've changed the format of as well. Now Instagram's moved everything around on stories. I just want red text. Why can't you just give me red text? There we go. It's because everybody's back at work. So all the techs who've had 3 months sitting at home playing around with ideas have gone into work and uploaded all this new stuff. And like, I've redone the interface for this, I've redone this, I've redone this. So everybody, everywhere you log into today has got a new interface or a new dashboard or a new colour scheme or something. Okay. I seem to have lost my chat. Let me reopen chat. There we go. Oh, I really did lose chat. Crikey. Okay, let me catch up on that. I'm sat here thinking there's only 3 people here. There's like millions. Sorry about that. Marie, Amber, Tingling from Finland. How cute. Hello. Tingling. I love the sound of that. Jen, Fiona, hi. Welcome, welcome. I'm just posting to Instagram a second so everybody knows that we're live. Because YouTube's notifications kind of slow, not gonna lie. And send. There we go. That's done. How are we doing? Welcome to the first short week of One Book July. If you are not familiar with One Book July, the name the name is the clue. One book, one pen, 1 month, and there's lots of different variations. Links are down below in the description to the rest of the team's video introductions for what they're going to be doing this year. The theme this year is pick and mix. So rather than us all doing the same thing and then you pick and choose what you want to do, you get to pick and choose what you want to do, but also we're doing pick and mix, so we're picking and choosing what we want to do. So we've got Carrie's doing a read along, Michelle's doing digital planning, alongside Carrie's read along. Vicky's doing creative journaling and bullet journal 1 year on, so updating from last year. And I'm doing it the other way round. I'm doing creative projects and also updating you on my bullet journal. So yes, links to their videos down below. Also a link to our dedicated YouTube channel, One Book July. It took us ages to come up with that name, I'm telling you. youtube.com/onebookjuly. I haven't finished setting up this year's playlists yet because I've had a lot to do this week. It's been a big admin week for me. Between Patreon and YouTube and One Book July and everything else. Katie and I were like yesterday and Monday trying to get everything done. Yeah, One Book July. The 2020 playlists are not up yet, but they will be very soon. There's already so many different videos up. All the old favourites have already done all their videos. Sylvia's done a video. I think Burgess did a video the other day. No, Burgess did a live the other day. John Rush has done a video. Malif Mitz has done a video. Everybody who regularly does videos for One Book July has already put a video up. It's amazing. There's already like 25 videos to watch. Ugh. So I will be sorting that out later and making sure that everybody's links pick up on the YouTube channel. It's an easy thing to do. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. In the meantime, if you search for One Book July 2020, all one word, those should all come up in your YouTube playlist, because if you put a video up, we do request that you put in One Book July 2020 either in your title or in your hashtags. So that's how we find it and put it in the playlists. So there you go. Updates. My updates. I've just redone my Patreon stuff this morning. Not this morning, yesterday. Patreon has started charging sales tax. Lots of people are up in arms about this. They don't want to pay sales tax. Well, tough. You pay sales tax on everything else, and you should have been paying sales tax on Patreon up to now. So consider it a gift, a bonus, that you haven't had to pay sales tax so far, and just bite the bullet, okay? It won't affect you, I don't think, if you already had your taxes. So like the UK, you were already being charged VAT. We have been for 18 months. So every pledge we make, we're charged an extra 20%. So, you know, that's life. That's the way it is. They charge you sales tax. So I think if you're UK or Europe, it won't affect you because that was all done 18 months ago. It's mostly just the US and Canada that's going to affect this time. I will also say that since my classes are educational, my Patreon is not a donation platform. A lot of people is like, just go to Patreon and donate to support the channel, okay? That's taxable. My stuff is educational, so it's actually not technically taxable, but Patreon does the money, so it's up to them whether they tax stuff or not. I can't do anything about it. They don't take into account the fact that some stuff is educational. So what I've done is set it up on my website as well. Also, you'll find that if you're a $1 patron, because I'm one of the original creators on Patreon, so I've still got the $1 tier. That was done away with, and it's now $3 minimum. I can still charge the $1 tier. I have left that on for now, just so that people can still get the ad-free stuff. However, if you would prefer to have your $1, all of it, go to me, as opposed to paying $1.50, I think it is, for some salespeople, tax, depending on what your taxable bill rate is, and only having 67 cents of that go to me, then you're welcome to swap over to my main website. Details are over there in that top right hand corner, and also down below in the description. Okay? I know, Patreon's a pain, but it's an alternative way of paying for classes. The bottom line is my classes are and always have been available for private sale on my website. The Patreon is just for an extra option so that you can pick and choose bits of the class easily, or you can pay monthly, okay? But you can also pay monthly on my website if you would like to. The tiers have not really changed. They are still basically the same. $1 is you get ad-free replays of these live shows, which is useful if you can't be around live. You get to watch the ad-free replays. So $1 a month plus whatever tax you're due will get you ad-free replays for the whole month of anything I put on YouTube. On the rare occasions I actually pre-record a video, you'll get that in advance as well. But I don't very often pre-record a video, so don't get excited about that. You also get invited to my monthly Astro and Tarot chat, which I do on the first Tuesday of every month. That's just a little perk, and you get invited to the end of term parties for the class. So you're not totally like out in the cold listening to the wind blowing. You do get to join in the live chats at the beginning and end of the month. The rest of the tiers, they're all linked to the class directly when Frogs Sing 2020 is my class. Each tier is listed on the front page, and it's also, if you go into the tiers, you get a full breakdown of what's in each tier. It's taken Katie and I forever to get everything listed, because we had to basically list everything absolutely clearly and concisely for this sales tax thing, because everything is different per state. So hopefully it makes sense. If you need to change your tier, today is the day to do it. Don't forget to change your tier and select your new rewards. Otherwise, you could end up paying the same as you were before and getting less rewards if you go down, or you could end up not getting as many rewards if you go up, so you'd be paying extra and not getting your extras. No, first Tuesday, Risha, you haven't had this information yet. No. First Tuesday of the month is Astro Chat. For once, I actually know what I'm doing. I promise. All this information will be going up because I had to have Patreon ready for the 1st of July because of the sales tax thing. All this information will be going up on the other site over the next day or so. All right? Because it used... Yeah, Risha doesn't have the new information yet, so... She's usually very good at keeping me on track, but actually I'm a bit ahead of you guys this time. Okay. One Book July. Let's get on with it, shall we? I think that's all the updates. $15 tier is everything, yes. I've basically set it up so you can go... You can do the... Just get the information and do your own thing. You can get the information and the astrology and tarot and divination and all that side of it, or you can just do the art if you want to, or you can do both. So it kind of starts with one tier, it splits into two, and then it comes back together. But because of that, I've had to move the Astro Chat to Tuesday. So we'll have an Astro Chat on the first Tuesday of the month, which will be all patrons, and then the class stuff starts on the Thursday. Otherwise, I have 7 sessions instead of 8. I prefer to have 8 sessions and have an extra 1 than have 7 sessions and one of them be odd. Can't handle that kind of ridiculousness. But yeah, you guys who are in the class already, don't worry about it. If you're on Patreon, all you've got to do is go and look at your tiers. All the information is there. If you're not on Patreon and you're paying through the other website, all of that's going to be updated very soon. Katie is all over it, I promise. Any more questions? Anything else? And then we'll move on. Yeah, you don't have anything to do with Patreon anyway, because you're through the website, so. But Patreon is no different to what you do. It's just set up in tiers is all. Okay, One Book July. Let's get on with that. So I've set up timestamps. I'm so organised today. Don't expect it to carry on for the rest of the month. I don't know what happened. I think my squirrels woke up. I set up timestamps underneath the video in the description. So if you're watching this as a replay and the timestamps are not there yet, it's because the video hasn't finished processing. So hold fire, wait a little bit, come back in like half an hour or so. YouTube is very slow to process live streams at the moment. And I can't edit anything while it's streaming. And also you'll get really naff quality. You won't be able to see what's going on very well. So if the timestamps are not yet in the description and you're watching the replay, turn this off, go have some tea, come back later. Technology, man, technology. So last week I showed you what I was doing, and basically I'm working on projects and I'm showing you a variety of creative projects that you can do. Originally I was going to show you how I use my game journal, my Animal Crossing journal, while I'm playing the game, to slow the game down and use the journal as a creative fun thing that I do alongside the game rather than just yet another bullet journal. I have since got a change of how to do that. So I've moved that to next week. I hope that's okay with everybody. I know quite a few of you have messaged me and said, "I've just bought a Switch and I'm blaming you." Okay, thanks. Great. All I can tell you is while you're playing and you're getting to grips with the game and working out how the controls work and all that, start making notes. Okay, just grab any notepad, it doesn't matter what it is, put the date and just start making notes. What did you find? What did you do? Who have you met? What's going on your island? All that kind of thing, if you're doing the ACNH journal with me. Hi, Cody. Hey, Ash. If you are waiting for that to come out, that will be Wednesday the... Oh, I haven't turned my calendar. I've done everything today, but turn my calendar over. Wednesday the 8th, that will be. Because I've got a better way of showing you my screen rather than rickety kind of here. Thanks to Risha, actually. Risha showed us in class how her Switch works and how everything fits together, and I've got a very cunning plan. Even though I have a Switch Lite, I figured out how I can show it you on screen and still have you see my journal. But obviously there's some setup to do with that, and I've been busy doing Patreon stuff, so I can't do that today. It would just be a whole mishmash of, oh look, I don't have the camera angle set up. Let's not do that. I'm ready to sketch. I can sketch easily. I've got some sketch to do, so I thought I would start with the sketchbook project. And sketching is something that a lot of us do. Even if we only doodle, all of us sketch in some form. If you don't sketch, it's a good practice to have, and you might as well try it for a month and see how it goes. So yeah, that's what we're doing this week, sketchbooking. Next week will be specifically my gaming journal and how I use it. Just so I've got something to actually show you, I will also be setting up one of the areas in my camp or on my island. But just because you don't play Animal Crossing doesn't mean that won't be of any use to you. You could do it as if you're setting up a place in your garden, you know, decorating a room, logging what you go on walks doing. It's kind of like a nature journal. It's not just a bullet journal. So hopefully you'll be able to take some of the ideas and turn them into a creative project of your own. Week 3, I'm going to be going through... Oh, what did I say I was going to do? Junk journaling. Because I'm doing Junk Journal July. Go and find Meg Journals. She's on YouTube. She's on Instagram. She runs One Book July. Not One Book July. Junk Journal July and Junk Journal January. She's got some videos up on how to junk journal and all that kind of stuff. And I think you should go and follow her. And, you know, if you want a junk journal for your One Book July project, go and do it. Add some variety to your life. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to bring it all together and update you on what I've actually managed to do, because that's a lot of stuff to actually do in a month. I'm aiming to make headway on all of my projects, as opposed to I must do an hour of this every day and I must do an hour of that every day and I must do this every day. I do want to do something every day, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to create a whole massive sketchbook spread, or I'm going to do a huge update on my Animal Crossing. Some days I just go in, check my daily stuff that I have to do to get my Nook miles, dig up my bells and log out. Sometimes that's all I do. Cody, could you find Meg's... her Instagram is Meg Journals. I'm pretty sure her YouTube is Meg Journals as well, but I don't know if it's that as a link. But if you search Meg Journals, you'll find her, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so sketchbooks. I have a whole series over on my Patreon called Sketchbook Revamp, which we've been doing over the last month or so. I had a sketchbook where I... Hands up if you know this story. I had a sketchbook that I'd started and I was doing quite well with, and it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was all right. And I was liking the paper and I liked the sketchbook. And then I made the most hideous sketch ever. And the more I did with it, the worse it got. And just every time I opened the book, it made me angry, and I chucked it in the corner because I didn't want to do any more in it. Hands up if that sounds familiar. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a sketchbook. It could have been a journal or whatever. A book, a notebook, a bullet journal, whatever you're doing. Sometimes some people even had planners and Hobonichis and stuff where they'd done like 8 pages and then they got frustrated because it wasn't doing what they wanted it to do, or they made a page that they hated, or they decided to change how they wanted to use it but then they couldn't figure out how to do it. So we did this whole series on Patreon, Sketchbook Revamp. Now what I'm hoping to do is offer that on my website as a mini class. I just have to get all the bits and pieces together and put it up. So hopefully I'll be able to update you on that next week. I was hoping to have it done again for today, but too much Patreon had to be done. So, and because it's legalese stuff that had to be done for the first, I didn't have a choice. Usually I would have gone, nah, that's not fun. I don't want to do that. But, you know, deadlines. So, yeah, that should be available as a mini class at some point. It's the live streams from my class that I run, which is the same as Patreon. Okay? And what we did was we took a sketchbook that had a really bad page on it and we revamped it. And we said, nope, this is not going to happen. We're not going to waste all this beautiful paper. We're not going to waste all this just because we don't like one page. And we didn't even rip the page out. So this is my sketchbook. As you know, I have a setup in my everyday... I'm going to call it my everyday carry. It's not really my everyday carry. I have an everyday... I'll explain that in a minute. I have a one book. Let's call it a one book, which has everything in it, okay? But I also have a separate sketchbook. I have a separate junk journal. I have a separate this, that and the other, because I like to use different sizes. I have 3 or 4 different sketchbooks on the go. I've got this size. I've got a moleskin because it's different paper. I've got one that's this size, but it opens that way. So it's a long book. I've got another one that I take urban sketching because it's thin and it's light, but it's big paper. So yeah, all of that is separate as well. And I just use them, you know, I don't worry about, oh, I've got 4 sketchbooks on the go and I'm only halfway through all of them. I don't care. What does it matter if it takes you 2 years to fill 4 sketchbooks, 1, 2, 3, 4, versus doing 1, 2, 3, 4 over the 2 years? Does that make sense? So you've got 4 sketchbooks and over 2 years you fill them all. Or you've got Sketchbook 1 and then Sketchbook 2, or maybe Sketchbook 3 takes you a little bit longer and then Sketchbook 4 is a bit shorter. What does it matter if it takes you 2 years overall? So I don't worry about it. I just use my sketchbooks, and I won't start another sketchbook this size until this one is finished. That's my only rule. Unless I don't like the paper, but I love the paper in these. This is the Art Alternatives sketchbook. If you're familiar with that ridiculously large 600-page sketchbook that a lot of people have got, it's the same paper. It's the same company. So if you wanted that book, which you can only get in America for a decent price, you can't get it here, so don't even try. It's like 60 quid before shipping. I know. If you're not sure if you'd like the paper or you want to try the paper first or whatever, you can get little ones. They do an A6 one as well, and they also do a spiral bound, which is half as many pages. So, I have a sketchbook I'm currently powering through. Yes, you keep sending me sketches, Amber. She's doing lots of updating and sketching and practicing people. You don't love the paper, but you don't want to waste it. Well, that's what sketchbooks are for. The thing is, you don't have to love the paper in a sketchbook if you're not doing mixed media. If it's just pencil or pen or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Because it's practice, you know? If I have a separate question about journal sizes, is there a better place to ask other than chat? No. You can't sidetrack a squirrel moment. A squirrel moment is basically squirrels bouncing all over the place. Yes, absolutely. As Amber says, just ask your question in chat. Somebody else may be able to tell you what I would have said or help you with their own answer. Making yourself feel bad for not filling them in a timely manner is dumb. Absolutely. I don't even agree with having a daily journal where you force yourself to do this page every day. That's why I won't use a Hobonichi anymore. I refuse. If I used a Hobonichi, it would be the one that doesn't have any dates in now, because who needs that kind of pressure? I don't want to be pigeonholed into you do this page every day. Who cares? You're trying to set up a handwriting practice journal and trying to figure out if B6 or A5 is going to be better. I hope that's not a silly question. Ashley says how large is your handwriting? That is an absolutely valid question to begin with. The bigger your handwriting, the bigger your book needs to be. If it's just going to be handwriting practice and calligraphy and stuff like that, I would say go for like an A4 or a letter size, or just use copy paper. Because it's not really, you want the freedom to be able to practice big letters. And if you use a book this size and you want to use a big, like a thicker nib, so your letters are going to be like this, and you want to practice that, you do an alphabet in that and you're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 letters per page. So you're going to use up a big chunk of this book just doing a letter, just doing one alphabet. So you're better off having an A4 page, which would be 4 times this. Then you can get 16 on a page, which is way better. That's what I would say. If you're doing calligraphy style stuff and brush lettering and all that kind of stuff, go for a bigger page. You might even want to go A3. If you're literally just practicing your own handwriting to make it neater, whatever book you're comfortable using normally is the best one to use, because there's no point learning to write very neatly in a really big book and then using a passport-sized journal. It's not going to work. You're done with the Hobonichis, you never use them anymore. I like the Hobonichis, but I don't like being pigeonholed into using 1 page a day. Doesn't work for me. So my sketchbook, let me show you where we started. This is my proper sketchbook that we did the thing in. And don't be intimidated by how my sketchbook looks. Sketchbooks don't have to be completely finished pieces. That's not the point of a sketchbook. A sketchbook is for practice. It doesn't have to look beautiful. It can have lots of mistakes in it. But if something just frustrates you so much that it inhibits you using the book, like this page originally did with the sketch that's underneath here, it wasn't even a sketch, it was a painting like this. And it was hideous and I hated it. And it's like 10 pages into the book. It's not even that. And I was like, I can't open this book and look at that page. But because it's a sketchbook and I shouldn't really care about it, I kind of was inhibited about doing anything about it for a while. And then I said, no, this is ridiculous. I'm not wasting all this beautiful paper. I love this book. I'm just going to slap some brown paper over it. That's what this is. Add a bit of washi tape and be done with it. Then I was free to go back and fill in some of the blank spaces in the previous pages, because I do a whole page here and I do a whole page there and I do a full page spread every day. I don't work like that. I leave gaps and I go back and fill them in later and stuff. So this is my sketchbook as it is at the moment. My front page, just various stickers and things that I have hanging around. This is from Jane Davenport's Mermaid Markers, the second set. This is one of my Buns stickers. This is my Terry's Chocolate Orange collection. This is from the Antique Sketchbook. This is a bookmark from, I can never remember her name, and it's on the back of the bookmark. Amber will tell me, because she gave it to me, so she'll tell me. I got a little pug here. I've got a Yogi Tea thing. I've got a little dog sticker that came on something. I've got a Ravenclaw R, which also stands for Romany and RhomanysRealm. This is from a Scrawler Box postcard, I think. So I just fill this up. I don't like to open my sketchbook and have a sketch straight away, because who needs that kind of pressure of creating a sketch that actually looks good on the very first page? No. So Nusha, thank you. Nusha, fabulous artist, love her work, never can remember her name. Sorry. Actually, let me do this. We got zoom! We can zoom! Did you see that? Boom, zoom! I told you I'd set up my camera. Hey Jane! I told you I'd set my camera up properly. Now I've just got to stop it wobbling. There's something loose on it and I can't figure out which bit of it is that's causing it to wobble. So every time I move the table it wobbles. Sorry. Hopefully it won't make you seasick. So, I started this book for the April Art Challenge last year. April Art Challenge 2019, which is this here. And all of these are different bits of the art challenge. So I think this was day 12. I haven't labelled that one. Day 13, day 14. I've got these were the mermaid markers. This is the second set of the mermaid markers, which is where that came from. The April Art Challenge, day 15, day 16, day 17, day 18. And all I did with this bit was I went through and finished off, because I had a few gaps. So I hadn't really done anything for this. I'd set something out but hadn't done anything. So I added this big sticker from the, it's actually two stickers on top of each other from the Antique Sticker Book for the geometric, because it's not just a drawing challenge. You can do anything for it. Eyeball candies, that was already finished, but I added in all the days, so I knew what was what. I added this bit in because it was loose, so I taped it in there. This page was already as it is, except this bit was missing. So what I did, this was the new set, so what I did was just put in the Mermaid Markers original set and just, put the colours in there. So I had kind of a reference of the two sets. This was a April Art Challenge, day 15. These ones, I added in the information, and I ended up with this big, I had a scribbly note here that was really ugly. So I stuck a paper sticky note over it, and I rewrote what was on there because I still need to have that list, but it was really difficult to work out what it said. So eventually I translated it and I rewrote it. And then I had this big gap that made the page look weird, so I added some Jane Davenport washi tape. This, I don't know what this is, but I did add this note. WTAF is this. I don't even remember, because I have no idea what that is. I know it was something to do with some kind of something that shape that I was trying to fit a rectangle into and trying to work out how long it needed to be to fit the rectangle in and still get it in, but I don't know what it was I was trying to do. And that, my friends, is why we label our stuff. All I had to do was put a couple of words here while I was doing it to just indicate what this was. Just a couple of words would have said, boom. Oh, I remember. That's when I was doing such and such, and this is why this happened, and that's why I had this, and that, you know how my brain works, right? But I've got no clue what that is, because just looking at the picture tells me nothing. Then I got Sam the Raven from Pete the Dog Trainer. I was watching YouTube, and I had a big chunky ballpoint pen, and I was just sketching as I watched. Literally just sketching the bird as I watched this 10-minute video. The sketches looked very disjointed, so I took a acrylic paint and I added it to the background to bring these two pages together, because it looked really weird. You couldn't really tell that they was all supposed to be together and stuff. And now it looks much more cohesive because it's got a background. It was something to do with a pouch, but it wasn't my Delphonics, because that was somebody else's pattern. I didn't have anything to work out for that. It was some kind of pouch that I was trying to fit. It was a flat pouch that needed to expand, and I needed to put something rectangular in, and I had to work out how long it needed to be to accommodate the rectangular width. But I have no clue what it was. Not a sausage. Absolutely nothing. Not one, not even an inkling. Not a clue. No. One day I'll find whatever it was, or the pattern for it, or bits of cut out stuff, and I'll go, oh, that's what it was. Label your stuff, even if it's only a quick little note in the margin. This was, oh, sorry. Then we've got the page that I hated, which stalled my sketchbook for an entire year. I covered it over, and we did this as a class project over on When Frogs Sing on Patreon. This is mixed media flower drawing stuff. Again, I had a bit of a gap at the top, so I did some washi tape. This was another class project we did. This is a page of notes. Now, normally, notes I would go through and get rid of. I would just paint over them. But these I need to keep because they're for the Midsummer class that I did last year. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to do it this year. Midsummer is come and gone. And we can't go out and about and explore stuff. This is a very out in nature, go and get your ramble on kind of class. So I'm going to have to run it next year, sadly. But, you know, I need the notes, so I left them. Now, I then had a few pages where I had sketches because I'd skipped ahead, because I don't always start at the beginning of a sketchbook. I will... In fact, my rule of thumb for a sketchbook, you know when you get a sketchbook, usually it's got a bookmark in it. Wherever the bookmark is, that's where I do my first sketch. So wherever that page is, that was actually the first sketch I did, is this one. So that was where the bookmark was when I bought the book. Because I just opened the book and I go, right, there's the bookmark. That's the page I'm going to start on. But that means that I go back through and I have blank pages, especially if I've drawn on something, like I drew on this page with pencil, coloured pencil, so I hadn't done anything on the back of this, because obviously you draw on here, it's going to transfer, right? So part of what I did with this book was I added a bit of washi and some tracing paper so that I can now use the back of the page, obviously not to draw heavily on, but I did collage on it and do a bit of writing. This I've left intentionally blank because it's all smudgy and stuff, and it's got transfer from that page, and I couldn't be bothered to clean it up, so I just, you know, like on exam papers, intentionally blank, you know, just so I don't come back to it and go, why did I leave that page up? Oh yeah, it's because no brain work. It's like the bullet journal thing that Ryder Carroll thing talks about. Less friction. I don't have to think about, why did I leave this page blank? Oh, it's got smudges all over it. Oh, I could erase. Oh, that's too much work. That's the same process over and over again every time I come to this page. So that causes friction because it slows down my creative process. So instead of that, intentionally blank. I've left it blank for a reason. At the time I must have known what the reason was, so whatever. And the reason I did it was because this page is standalone. It's got nothing on either side, which means I can use markers on this. So on this page, I just put markers okay. Because this is always going to be blank. Unless I put marker stuff on this and then I stick something on that page. Okay? Does that make sense? Sorry, the camera's wobbling again. I need to stabilise it again. I had it stabilised, but... Tracing paper, this is not a new idea. You can buy books with tracing paper in between the leaves. It's just that this is pencil, coloured pencil, and it's quite heavy coloured pencil, so because it transfers and it was making this page dirty and it was rubbing off, which will eventually cause a problem with the integrity of the piece. Even though it's just a sketch, you know, this is why I don't like spiral sketchbooks. Because if you do a piece like this, even if you put tracing paper over it, the movement on the spine every time you open the book causes this, which smudges all your drawings. Drives me insane. This is just a collage of stuff that I got from a magazine, and it was, I love Mary Shelley, so I did a little thing about her. This is from class. I've done this, but I've done it very badly. We'd kind of been, I think I'd been trying out some new gouache and it had not gone very well, and it was a bit of a mess and we didn't do very well with it. So then I redid them. I went back in with some more gouache and some more acrylic until I was kind of happy with the page. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Did I have fun doing it? Yeah. Was it good practice? Yeah. That's what a sketchbook is for. I love this page. This page was empty, and I thought, well, since I've already got pages of the dogs here, I'll do a sketch of Scooby and I'll do a sketch of Maddie. And I am so happy with this page. It's one of my favourite pages in the sketchbook. These pages are at a similar stage. I just haven't done anything with them yet. I haven't gone back and sorted them out. I don't know if I'm going to keep him or not, or try and salvage him. But this is similar to what these looked like before, but even worse. And these are gouache, so I can't do anything wet on the back of this page, because if I do wet gouache, it will seep down onto this page and ruin this page. So if I'm going to do wet media, I do it on the right. That means that I can use the back of the page for sketching. So I can do some more sketching on this page. These are just example pages from, like, when I'm doing my classes and I have to explain something. This was how cylinders work, how to draw a mug, that kind of thing, and doing the different parts of the mug and getting the perspective right. It just had some empty space. So I noted the dates, because at some point I will write that in properly. And I just filled some washi tape in, and then I had several pages of this, so I used the same washi tape so they're cohesive. I think I've got another one back here somewhere. So it's obvious that these two pages go together because they've got the same colouring, the same format, the same subject, and the same washi tape. So immediately you go, oh, these two are the same, okay. Just little tricks you can do in your sketchbook to make it look a little bit more cohesive, so that when you flip through it, you go, oh, I'm quite proud of this, as opposed to, why doesn't my sketchbook look like everybody else's? Urban sketching, gouache and pencil, bit of journaling, bit of photo journaling. I don't date absolutely everything. If I do a full sketch like this, I will put a date on it and where it was. But I have started putting in the beginning of the month. So this is from May onwards. Anything in this section is May. And if I do journaling, I date it. But otherwise, I don't bother. So, like, there's no... Oh, there are some dates on this because it's a class reference. But, like, these, I don't know exactly when I did that. Because I just drew them. I didn't do them... I don't think I did them in class. I think I had already done them as light sketches, and we went over them and made them a little bit more... I don't want to say better, because they were good to start with. Just more defined. There we go. That's the word. So refining edges, adding a little bit more contrast, making them look a little bit more like this and a little bit less like this, because the whole page looked like this originally. So then we're into May, and this is when I started using my sketchbook proper. So from here onwards, this is kind of a bit more chronological, but I still skip backwards and forwards. I finally managed to draw a cat I was proud of. Another photo from the kids. Creative imagination. This was from a book, and it's referencing the Romantics and how Wordsworth and Gainsborough looked at using imagination as part of their creative work. And I found it really interesting. So that went in the sketchbook. How to develop a daily reflection practice. Again, this went in the sketchbook. It's not just a sketchbook, it's kind of like a journal as well. But I don't have, this is my sketchbook and this is my journal. I just put stuff in books. I just do stuff. Whatever's to hand, that's where I do it. Imagination is the only weapon in the war against reality. This was early during lockdown. This was during COVID. This page, wow. This is some more of that. So in theory, I could add some washi tape and tidy this up. But, you know, having seen this earlier in the book, you go, oh, right, I recognise that. So that's some more of that, working stuff out. And then I haven't finished this sketch because every time I look at it, it makes me laugh. Okay, anybody who's not in the class, because if you're in the class, you know, so don't cheat. Anyone who's not in the class, tell me what kind of animal you think I was drawing there. I'll give you a second. In fact, I'll go and quickly grab a drink. Let me quickly grab a lemonade from the kitchen while you're having a think about what animal I was drawing in that picture. I'm back. Okay, so mouse, guinea pig, squirrel, guinea pig. Richard's laughing because she knows the answer. Hamster, hamster, hamster. You think it's a hamster? Okay, yeah. I'm waiting for somebody to say Pikachu, because that's what I see when I look at it. We did a series of... Not a cat. Not a cat is actually the correct answer. We did a sketchbook class on how to draw dogs and how to draw cats. Now, there are some animals that I can draw. Wild animals, I'm pretty good at. Dogs, I'm really good at, because I've got dogs in front of me all day, every day. I observe them all the time. But cats, I'm not overly familiar with. I had cats. I had 2 cats for 20 years. But mostly, they just laid around and slept a lot. And I never really sat and drew them, because you try and draw a cat when it's sleeping, and it's basically just a big puddle of fur. And if you try and draw it when it's moving too fast. It's gone. Whereas a dog will kind of strike an interesting pose no matter what it's doing and hold it for a while. So I started a class where I said, right, today we're going to draw cats, but I don't actually know how to draw cats, so let's see how far we get. This one is the one we did on the 2nd week of the class, where I'd had a bit of practice. And this was the first attempt. This is a cat, or as Angie says, not a cat. I see it, and all I want to do is draw a big zigzaggy tail with a black patch and call it Pikachu. Cats are really hard to draw. They're just a big fluffy ball of slink that looks like it's melting, and they are so hard to do. Dogs have muscles, and, you know, even big fluffy dogs, they've got shape and structure, and, you know, the head from the tail. But cats are just... It looks like a hybrid bunny, rabbit, guinea pig. Yeah. It's cute. It's kind of a... You look at it and you go, oh, that's kind of cute. You know. You do look at it and go, oh, hamster. Oh, guinea pig. Oh, that's cute. Unfinished, but yeah, it's cute. And then you go, actually, it's supposed to be a cat. And you're like, what? Are you sure? So I haven't done anything with it because it makes me laugh every time. You have to laugh at your... It's not even a mistake, it's a complete failure. You know, I drew a cat and it looks like a hamster. In fact, to the point where it's not even just like, you say it's a cat and you go, oh, right, okay, but it's kind of hamster-like. No. I tried to draw a cat and it is a hamster. And if I said, open this and said, here I drew a hamster, you wouldn't question it. Or if I said, here I drew a guinea pig, you wouldn't question it. Guinea pigs and hamsters, pretty similar. You know, guinea pig, hamster, no, guinea pig, hamster. Kind of the same, but slightly different, you know. Have you ever seen a cat? Exactly. That was the day I discovered I cannot draw cats. Fortunately, I wasn't alone. There were a few other people in the class who couldn't do it either. But, you know, I don't know everything. I can now draw a passable cat. This is the most recent one I did. This was quite a while later, so having practiced a little bit, I can paint a cat quite well. And now I can sketch a cat in pen quite well. But that was my very first attempt. Moving on. Anyway, so after all these failed cat sketches, right, the blue ones, this one, and the red one under here, are the ones that I did this, was like, yeah, no, let's start again. So I did these red ones, and then I went back in and tried to do them again with blue, and it just got worse and worse and worse. So when I did my sketchbook revamp, we did another session of cats. Now this is 2 months on, I think. Yeah, so about 8 weeks difference between the guinea pig and the final results. And using these as a basis. So first I redrew these, and then I redrew this, and then I found some references, and I did this, and... No, sorry, I found a reference and I redid this. Then we found a book that actually taught you how to draw a cat step by step. And what I found was that the problem was not that I couldn't draw a cat. I can draw a cat, as you can see. There's not many of these that don't look like cats. They're not terribly good cats, you know, but they all look like cats, right? It's not that I can't draw a cat. It's that I had absolutely zero idea what a cat actually looked like. That was the problem. Similar to something I was saying to Amber yesterday, she sent me a sketch that she'd done. She was really proud of it. She's like, I drew this and I'm really happy with it for once because I'm terrible at drawing people. And the first thing I said to her was, you're not terrible at drawing people. You're terrible at working out what the ratios are. The hands are too small for the head. That's the problem. It's not that you can't draw the head. It's not that you can't draw the hands. It's not that you can't draw a person. It's actually very good, but it's out of proportion. And that's why it looks wrong. That's what you have to look at and say, is it that I don't know how to draw a cat, or that I can't draw a cat, or is it simply that I don't have a mental reference of what a cat's bone structure actually looks like? And once we started doing it, actually, because you immediately think of a cat as being smooth and sleek like this, that's how you try to draw them. But when you actually look at a cat, they actually, quite often they've moved around a bit and their fur gets a little bit unkempt looking because they haven't woken up and groomed themselves. 9 times out of 10, a cat will wake up and the first thing it'll do is smooth its hair out, you know. So we started doing the fur a little bit more, oh, let's make him look a little bit rougher. Then we worked out what the actual angles and everything were of a cat walking. And I discovered that actually a cat's head is in line with its back when it's walking. I had no idea. I assumed that like 90% of other animals, you know, you have the shoulders and then you have the neck, right? That's how animals work. There's the back, there's the neck. Head here. That's how animals are. Not cats. Back, neck, head. It's a straight line. So I learned that. And then we started doing some, going back to what we started to do originally. This is drawn on tracing paper because I didn't want to start another page. I think I've got something already on the next page. I didn't want to move on to yet another page. So I just added some tracing paper and sketched on that instead. Stuck it in with a bit of washi tape like a tip in, and you can still see what's underneath. But it looks like a sketchbook. You know, when you look at people's sketchbooks and you go, oh, that's what a sketchbook should look like. Why doesn't my sketchbook ever look like that? Well, that's a neat little trick you can do when you've got sketches and then you want to finalise them or, you know, having a go at another thing. Do you want a bit of tracing paper and stick it in? Job done. Yes. Oh, recycled on Wednesdays. That is exactly it. This, if you take away this bit, it does look like what you think a cat's nose and eyes look like without actually looking at a reference. Kind of what you imagine what you remember, but you can't actually see the cat, so it's not very good. But if you took away the eyes, it's got a general, you could pass it as a cat. But the eyes are so generic, it changes it to, well, it could be anything, and it looks more like a hamster now, so. YouTube just had me rate your video. That's never happened before. Oh, that's because I added Super Chat. I meant to tell you about that. Because with the Patreon thing, I've had a lot of $1 Patreons. drop down because they quite understandably, you know, if all you can afford to do is support your creators with $1, paying extra sales tax of up to 50% on that is too much. You can't afford that. And that is, you know, then you've got to say, well, do I want to support this one or do I want to support that one? And you end up deleting everything and going, this is too hard. And I totally understand that. So I've left the $1 tier on Patreon for those who don't pay tax or pay minimal tax because they don't care. And those who have a higher rate of sales tax, some sales tax is up to 50%, like I say. So instead of paying $1, you pay $1.50, and of that I get 67 cents. Which is like, oh, well, that's great, but, you know... Gee, thanks, Patreon. You know? So you're not giving me $1, which was your original aim, right? So what I've done is added super chat to YouTube because YouTube doesn't take anything. That means people who are on limited budgets or who, you know, occasionally have $2.50 spare or whatever can now donate through super chat on here. And I need to change that link there so that I see everything. There you go. That doesn't affect you, that's me. I only had one session, not two. So now if you want to donate to the channel, you can do that as and when, anytime you want, add a special message and you get a little super chat thing that I can read out, say thank you very much for your donation, etc, etc. You get a shout out on the video, all that kind of stuff, you know? I thought it'd be nice, especially for people who've got channels but aren't monetized yet, but you want to support my channel as well. You do me a little donation, do a thing, send me your link, include your link in your message, and I can do a little shout out and go, oh, and so-and-so, thank you very much for your donation, and, you know, there's their channel, or whatever, you know. Some people just want to buy me a coffee, and that's okay. I also have a buy me a coffee link down at the bottom, because sometimes that's what you want to do. Some people don't want to donate regularly. They just think, oh, I've got a bit of spare cash. I'll buy Ro a coffee. That'd be cool. And that's perfectly okay. Every little helps, and I do appreciate it. I just don't appreciate you paying a minimal amount because you are on a budget and still scraping together $1 to give to me and support me because you want to, which is amazing of you, especially if you're on a budget. I'd be like, what are you doing? You can't afford that. Don't be silly. But it means then your generous gift of $1 out of what you can afford, Patreon takes a third of it. Between Patreon and PayPal, I'm getting about 60p. In fact, it's not even 60p, because by the time you translate it from dollars to pence, it works out about 50p. So anyway, yeah. Oh, there you go. There's an example. I don't know who can see that and who can't. I think it comes up for me, and it might come up for you, Burgess, because you pay for your YouTube channel, so you don't have to watch ads, don't you? Aren't you subscribed to YouTube to not pay ads or something? So I don't know if you'll see that, but thank you very much, Michelle Ellis. That's a very nice little donation there from you. I really appreciate that. I won't say how much people's donations are unless they specifically say in a message it's okay to say how much I've donated. I will assume... Oh, you can see it. Okay, so some people can see it anyway. So that's how it comes up. If you donate, it's just like on Twitch when you can do a donation and, you know... you would be able to see it anyway, Risha, because you're a mod. You'd be able to see things anyway. I'm not entirely sure how... I think there's a way of ticking it so that it doesn't show your message or something like that. But you should be able to see the banners of donations anyway. And I think you can do it anonymously as well. But thank you, Michelle, for that. Much appreciated. See, right there, just like that, Michelle has just given me the equivalent of 2 months on Patreon at a $1 tier. So it's, you know, entirely entirely more sensible, I think. Does that make sense? Anyway. Incidentally, I don't get the money immediately. It's not like I've now got $2 in my PayPal. That's not how it works. I get my money. YouTube collects all the payments, and when I reach a certain threshold, they make a payment at the end on the 21st of the month. So, but I am due a payment soon anyway. So, yay! July will be buying some new stuff for the channel month. Always is. Should you discontinue your 15 on Patreon and give it to you some other way? It's entirely up to you. If you're getting charged sales tax, I would say go and pay through the website. Because my website is UK based, I am UK based, I don't do content, I teach, and it's all live. So it's just like attending a class except you're online. It's just like coming to a workshop. So I'm allowed, according to my UK accountant, I am allowed to put that content up tax-free on my website. I don't have to pay VAT to the government, and you don't have to pay tax to me. Because it's not sale of goods, it's sales of educational. So it's entirely up to you. If you want to, at the $15 tier, it actually doesn't make a lot of difference on my end. But if you're paying sales tax, at the $15 tier, I would say swap over to the website next month. And of course, talk to Katie if you need any help with that. Sorry, we're not going to get anything done today, are we? I was going to do some sketching today. I'm not even halfway through my book flip. Well, it's not like we have to finish at like 5 o'clock or something. I don't care how long the streams are, do you? I mean, I think you get cut off after 12 hours. But I don't envisage being here that long. You're still on Patreon because you have a Patreon page as well, and Yes, we kind of traded. We pay each other. I pay for her class, she pays for mine. So we kind of break even on it. Well, understandably, Patreon have a deal with PayPal. So it's not like Patreon sends me a payment and then PayPal takes a cut of it as well. Patreon has a deal with PayPal and they pay fees as a company so that I don't. But by the time they've taken out their cut of running the website, doing all the marketing, paying the PayPal fees, running the servers and everything else, obviously they have to make a profit on their business, so they have to take a percentage. There's very few things you can use that is completely free and you can make money at it. YouTube is one of the very few you can do that. Most companies charge you a monthly fee. Patreon doesn't charge you a monthly fee, it just takes a percentage of your earnings. Which I totally understand. I get it, etc. I don't have a problem with it. But because my stuff is not, I'm not making art and selling it to you. I'm not making prints and selling it. I'm not making music and selling an album or whatever, like a lot of creators are. I'm doing tutorials. This is educational. Well, maybe not this right now. But what I do on my classes is educational. So, because I'm teaching you to draw. You know, I'm teaching you how to do crafting spells. I'm teaching you how to do astrology. I'm teaching you how to read tarot cards. I'm teaching you how to use mixed media and how to use acrylics with oils and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't come under tax law. It's free of charge for tax purposes. Disney, where did Disney come from? You're sketching Kuzco as a llama from The Emperor's New Groove. And then Hades. I'm glad you said at the end, they're my two favourite Disney characters, because I would have had no clue what you were talking about. I don't do Disney. I like the live action stuff, but I'm really not into animated stuff. I prefer anime to Disney. It's always bugged me that all their girls were like Barbies, disproportional, and they were all incredibly talented and beautiful, and oh, they could all sing and dance and talk to birds. And I'm like, that's not real. Young Romany didn't understand the concept of fairy tales, apparently. Anyway, this is, you know, when in doubt, swatch. If you come to a page in your sketchbook and you want to do something but you don't know what to do, grab something you haven't used for a while and swatch it. Because I guarantee you, by the time you finish doing the swatches, you'll either say, I don't like using these, I'm going to have to give these to so-and-so because I'll think they'll enjoy them. Or you'll do this and then you'll go, actually, I really like this, which is what I did. And then I drew this for April, the second April Art Challenge. And then I drew this, which you may remember. And this is my first proper Copic marker sketch that I've ever done. It's actually my first proper piece of work that I've done with alcohol markers, actually. I just applied what I know of other media and tried it out. This is a YouTube, so... But, yeah. Having swatched it, I was like, huh, okay. Isn't Merida Pixar? Merida's not Disney. Well, she classes as a Disney princess now, but she's from the other place. Lovebug, thank you for the donation. That's very kind of you. Yeah, this lion is going to be a print eventually. I'm going to scan him and digitize him and then maybe give him a bit of a background, tweak his colours a little bit, and he'll be available as a pre-order print on my website. Again, members on the website and members of the website and patrons will get prior notice of when pre-orders are available. She's Disney Pixar, yeah. Like the Toy Story. See, Toy Story I enjoyed. Not a Disney princess to be seen. And Merida's a princess, but she's kind of more my kind of princess. They are part of Disney now, but she's Pixar. They've got a very different take on things. And I love the fact that they've kept their take on things. I'm a big Pixar fan. My favourite animation is Monsters, Inc. That is a fantastic movie. I can watch that all day, every day. So, yes. And then I didn't have anything on this page. So, I wrote the April Art Challenge stuff, because this was the Disney one. And I actually wasn't familiar with anything that I could draw for Disney. I was like, I'm going to have to look something up. And was it you, Inlay? Did you suggest Scar from The Lion King? And I had to go and look him up. And then I remembered it was the big scary lion with the craggy face. I was like, now that's a Disney I can get behind. So, but this guy is actually... I wrote it here. I wrote it on the page. The reference for this sketch is a lion who's actually called Scarface. He's 19 and lives in the Masai Mara in Kenya. He's the second generation of the Musketeers coalition of male lions, along with his brothers Hunter, Sikio, and the third one I've not written the name in. That's weird. He lost the whole of his right eyelid in 2012 when they took over the Paradise Pride. It still opens up from time to time and the keepers have to stitch it back together for him. It wasn't you. Oh, maybe it was Zen. Air Zen. It might have been them. Nice to see you, by the way, Inlay. I haven't seen you for a while. Last photographed, June 2019. Last seen by a guide, October 2019. Nobody's seen him since, as far as I know, but he is known for wandering off. Oh, I like the old Disney. The Aristocats was one of my favourites as a kid. I think I don't like Disney because the first one I saw was Bambi and it traumatised me. And I like the Aristocats, but I didn't like the cats. I liked the mouse. Gus and Roquefort, is it? I've never seen The Fox and the Hound. I know the story of The Fox and the Hound, and I don't want to see it. I would be very upset. I'm still traumatised from Watership Down. And then I had this space at the bottom. So again, we're talking things you can do in your sketchbook that make you turn it into a project rather than just, oh, I drew this and now there's a big space here. So I had my sketches that I'd done in pencil. I redid them in the same pen I'd written in, and then I also wrote about the lion's paws because we had to look that up. How are their toes positioned, and how many toes do they actually have? Because you don't realise that you don't know how many toes a lion has and which way they face until somebody says to you, how many toes does a lion have on its back foot? And you're like, 3? Maybe 4? 5-ish? I know if it's got 6, it's a polydactyl. You know, you get dumb as soon as somebody asks you a specific question. It's that same thing if we all know what a cat looks like, but when you try and draw one, it looks like a hamster. Same thing. And then I also wrote down, because this was the first time I'd really used these markers, I also wrote down the colours I used for the markers, and I used a little bit of pencil in places, so I put that down here as well. Bambi's nice if you skip the first part. Yeah, I think I saw the first part and that I don't remember the rest of the film. This is just some quotes that I had written on papers that I've stuck in. Don't forget you can flip your sketchbook round and use it a different way. So this was Urban Sketches. Obviously we can't go out and meet at the moment, but we're doing virtual sketch walks where we go on Google Maps. We pick a place, we go on Google Maps, we all stand somewhere different and we draw what we see. So this was mine of Trafalgar Square. Again, Copic markers and pencil, which is a technique that I really enjoy and I want to get back into it. I haven't done it for a little while and I want to do some more. This is a work in progress of a collage. It's one of those, ooh, I like this really cool page or double page spread from a magazine, but I don't want all the bits around it and I don't want the writing. I just like all the cool stuff and the colours and things. So I took out all the bits I liked, rearranged them on the page, and I will go round at some point and add some blues and paints and things to bring it all together. You love when people swatch colours on a spread. I've got into the habit of doing, I don't always bother with like colour pencils or watercolours because I know my watercolours and colour pencils. But if I came back to this even now, I couldn't tell you exactly which colours I used. The only thing I could tell you is that I definitely used the purple shadow because I wanted a cool tone shadow, and that's where all this beautiful colour here comes from. Because I did all the browns, then I put the purple shadow over the darkest bit, then I put the shadow in the darkest darks again, and then I went over it with white pencil, and that's what gives it this lovely rough texture, which I'm so proud of. At some point, I'll probably print a picture of him and tip that in so that you can see the reference photo as well. I think that would be cool. Oh, you're over in Norway now. So yeah, I've been rocketing along with this sketchbook. Again, I had a page, didn't have anything I wanted to do particularly, but I wanted to play on my sketchbook. This was collage on the back, and if you've got a page of collage on the back, a really good thing to do is test watercolor stuff to see if it works, because it will stop it wrinkling. So this is my Ecoline brush pens. I've got some more, but these were the ones I could find, and I'm really into these. These and Copic markers are what I'm really into at the moment, to the point where I want to get some more of these in colours that I really like, because you can buy them one at a time, and I want to pass on my aqua markers to somebody else because I very rarely use them. They kind of annoy me because the colours that are on the lids are not really the colours that come out, so you have to have a swatch next to you every time you use the colours, whereas these are very true to colour. This was... Guess what date I drew this? May the 4th be with you. Absolutely. Never fails. I do it every year. Again, Copic markers and some colour pencil over the top. Absolutely love this technique. This under here was a completely failed sketch of something that was just awful. And it looked even worse because it had this coming through the back. So it was just a mess of a page. So I stuck a piece of moleskin paper over it and I used it as a journal page. Ta-da! Oh look, more swatches. Oh, I haven't written what those are. I probably should do that. Even though I know, just by looking at them right now, what they are, even from the beginning of May. So these are the Arteza watercolour set pans. 36, I believe. 2, 4, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 36 set. And these are my personalised palette, which is my little black one, this one that I use. Another journal page. This is some Jane Davenport paper. Yes, this is Jane Davenport sketchbook paper, scrapbook paper, and it was in one sheet, but it kind of got torn and messed up, and I think I spilt coffee on the top corner of it, and I just tore it off and stuck it in here, as you do. At some point I might go back and do something here, but I kind of like this page as it is. I don't think it really needs to have the things filled in. It would be nice if it had some writing, but you just started swatching colours, but it's not yet a practice. Yeah. See, when I'm drawing, if I want to draw but I don't know what to draw, I draw mushrooms. And if I want to do something but I don't fancy drawing, I either collage or I swatch something. Should try Blick alcohol markers. They're brush nib, refillable and way cheaper than Copics. Well, these are the Copic Chows and I've got a full set of them, so, and they're refillable. But that's a handy tip for anybody who's looking at alcohol markers and doesn't have them. Unfortunately, it would actually cost me more to get the Blick markers shipped to here than it would to just buy the Copic Chows. I can get the Copic Chows from Japan cheaper than you could buy the Blick markers and send them to me. And it would cost me even more to just order them from Blick. Everything I order from the States now, the postage is almost as much as the cost of the goods. And then I get charged VAT. And then I get charged import fees. And then because I'm charged VAT and import fees, Royal Mail charges me £14 admin fee. Go figure. So it's actually cheaper for me to order stuff from Japan because I don't get charged an import fee from Japan. You bought the ones from Copic and you wish you'd got the ones from Blick now. Yeah. Postage is prohibitive now. It really is. This is another class. We moved on to drawing dogs and foxes, which is a lot more successful. This was very mixed media. So this is basically throw absolutely everything at the page and see what sticks. Blicks are $3 to $4 for open stock, which is £2.50. Yeah, I can get Copic Chows for about the same price. But if you're in America and you can get to a Blicks, that's fantastic value. You're going to love autumn in ACNH. Oh, I know. Mushrooms! We got the mushrooms, then we got Halloween. I can't wait. I'm going to be drawing so many things. Now, this was where I was trying my aqua markers. because I found them in a box and I was like, why did I put these in a box instead of why am I not using these? I put them in a box, why am I not using them? And I started using them and I was like, oh, that's why I'm not using them, because they don't blend. And they're not very good colours. The difference in the colours here and the difference in these colours, look at these colours compared to these. Those are aqua markers. These are Ecoline brush pens. And that's these. Where did he go? Where's Chewbacca? Where's Chewie? There he is. Look at the difference in the colours. And even how they perform. This was the same thing. I did a scribble, I let it dry, and then I blended it out. Look how smooth those blends are. That one didn't blend too well. And that one is a bit funny, but for the most part, you can't really see where the blending started. Guess which bit I drew and guess which bit I blended out on this. So yeah, aqua markers are going to someone who will appreciate them. This is another of our sketch walks. This is June now. We're into June. And this was St. Basil's in Moscow. I was going to do all the different colours, actually. You're annoyed that you missed cherry season. Cherry blossom season. Well, you'll have that next to look forward to next year, won't you? Just around the time that you're almost finished your island and you have a 5-star island and you're kind of getting bored, suddenly you'll have cherry blossom season and you'll be able to redo the entire thing from top to bottom in cherry blossoms. The Ecoline brush markers are really good. Really good. They are comparable with Inktense pencils. The fireflies are gorgeous, aren't they? I've saved some fireflies to give to Flick because I want to have firefly bugs, like firefly models. So I've saved a few to give to Flick. Collage, some stuff from a magazine on the Stoics, and I really liked these colours. And I've got some more bits of that, I think. Yeah, I kept some of the bits here. I just really like this colour combination. And this is the kind of thing that I would just slap in the middle of the page and you match the colours and spread it out into an abstract. So I kept some bits. Though they're watercolour, they're water-based. They're actually water ink. They're the same as the ones that come in the little bottles. You know, the little watercolour Ecoline bottles that look like these. Same thing. They're water-based ink. But once they're blended out, like this, I could move it with water even now because it's just the colour on the page. Whereas these ones back here have been blended out, so they're actually permanent and you can layer them over each other. I'm disappointed in how big the models are. The insect models are a good size. I was very disappointed at the white shark. The white shark is not as big as I thought it was going to be. I thought the white shark was going to be the size of the white shark. I was all set up. I was going to have a little corner of my beach for Jaws because Horror Island. But no, can't do it. Quite annoying. And then that's it. I've been doing a couple of bits and pieces in here. This is I was starting to draw a skull, and then we did some mushrooms. This is the kind of stuff we do in class, where we were learning to draw different mushrooms. And rather than just taking a mushroom reference, what we did was we had everybody in class draw a different mushroom, or just draw an outline of an illustration mushroom, just a doodled mushroom. And as you can see, this is on the left, this is all the ones from class. So everybody showed me what they'd done and I redrew it in my book. So you can see that's one of mine. The blue ones are other people's sketches that I've copied into my book, okay? And then I went through and showed different ways to amp it up a bit because everybody was a bit bored with their doodles. They wanted to know how to make them a bit more interesting or 3D or whatever. So with each one we did a bit more with it. So this one we added shading, we gave it a bottom, and we added some shading on the floor, and suddenly it's still a doodle, but it looks like a 3-dimensional doodle. This one we did it like it was half a like a button mushroom cut in half. This one I really like the shape of it, so we corrected the perspective and then we gave it some grass, because if it's grown out the ground you might as well have grass, right? And so on. We took this one, we turned it, because it was a weird shape, we turned it into an ugly mushroom, which was really good fun. This is one of my favourites. I love this one. And then this is the one that I always draw. This is the mushrooms I do. This is my default doodle. You know, you all have that default doodle that you do. This is my default doodle, these mushrooms. So this was a really fun exercise to do. And then we had this one, which is a huge flat thing, and everybody said it looked like an umbrella. So we literally turned it into a little umbrella and put a mouse underneath it. This one looked like a pizza logo, so we turned it into a pizza logo. And then this was showing you how we could put it all together, all these different techniques that we've done, adding shading, adding knobbles, making it 3D, adding grass, you know, changing the perspective and so on, and turned it into a complete doodle. So you can add all of those things to one doodle. And that was a class that we did over on Patreon. So that's an example of the kind of things that we do in class, where you learn, you know, you do it yourself, and most people can do it themselves, but you also then learn techniques on top of it to amp it up a little bit. So I'm now halfway through the sketchbook from having done that. That's since April. I started revamping the sketchbook in April for the April Art Challenge. So I'm halfway through. I can't believe that's taken an hour and a half. I thought, oh, I'll do a quick sketchbook flip and then we'll get on and do some sketching. Coffee cups. Drawing coffee cups, yeah. It's one of my favourites. I found a leaf insect last night. And I would tell you what it looks like, but it would be a spoiler if I did. But it was so interesting. Keep your eye out for a leaf insect. Do you do doodles? Yeah, I do doodles. We all do doodles. Everybody doodles. Everybody doodles. So this is my one book setup for the month. You saw this last week, but it's actually set up now. I've added a pen here, even though I've got pens in here and a pen there. It's just handy to have a pen on the outside instead of unfolding it every time if I need a pen. There it is. And this is the one I use in my bullet journal mostly, so it's really handy. Oh, I need to make a note in my bullet journal. Here we go. There's no friction stopping me picking up my bullet journal, even though this is quite a complicated thing. So that just fits on there. It's nothing special, it's just a cheap pen from Wilko's. I've got some collagey bits that I'm going to use in here. This is my bullet journal, which is a dot grid moleskin cahier. I will go through this later in the month when I've been using it for a while, but as you can see, nothing's really changed that much. This one is another moleskin cahier, but it's plain, and this is my collage. For ages I've been calling this a collagey, photo-y, painty type book. Let me see. What else could we call it? Maybe, I don't know, an art journal? So this is my art journal. I like to collage and paint and do bits and pieces. These are all work in progress. See? They're not... I just come in here and I do some bits and pieces. And I will also write in here, and, you know, it's basically the same as that. But the sketchbook part is in here. And this, again, this was a This was from my class. We made flowers, and we cut them out and we embellished them and we turned them into a cover for our book. But this is actually moleskin plus sketchbook paper. I had a half a sketchbook and I decanted it and put it into a soft cover, and now it fits in here like a little cahier. So it's proper sketchbook paper, which I prefer drawing on. And then this is my junk journal, which it's only the first, so I haven't actually done anything with this yet. This is Junk Journal July. It's not even stitched together yet, and I'm using one of these covers, dashboards, Midori-sized dashboards that Vicky sent me, just as a cover for it, because it keeps it stiff. If you don't put something stiff on the outside, or the pages would scrunch on the elastic. You know how traveller's notebooks work. So I use that as a cover, but actually I'm thinking I might leave this as a cover and stitch it all together, because I could, though this is not wide enough, I could actually just add some lace or some ribbon or something onto here, because 9 times out of 10, the size of the cover on your junk journals, by the time you finish your junk journal, isn't wide enough to cover all the tabs and stuff you've got sticking out. So I might just do that and wait till I'm finished it, because I'm only going to use this for a month. Once I've done it, I will sort out the cover, stitch it all together, and then I've got a completed little one booklet. I'm just chucking bits and pieces in here as I find bits and stuff that I want to use. I keep forgetting to put that back in. That's supposed to be there because that's my ruler. I've got some washi tapes and things here. Again, some more collagey bits and some doggy bits and references and photo references and stuff like that. And then in here, I've got my basics. So this is everything I need, so that I can sit down and not think, oh, I wish I'd brought so-and-so with me. So I've got an eraser. I've got it's not a glue runner, it's a whiteout pen for my bullet journal. Maddie, put the bone down. I've got my Tombow Funazuke pen, which is what I do my headers with in my bullet journal. Not fancy, just so they stand out, because I use ballpoint pen. I've got my 3-colour ballpoint pen plus my pencil there. I've got a red and blue pencil there that I like to sketch with. I've got my other 4-colour Bic there. These are the pens I'm using. These are the Mildliner Originals. I'm just using these for highlighting stuff in my bullet journal. Yeah, green is what I was using for June. And because this week is part of June, because it's admin week for me, I'm using both this week, because it's a half and half week. So I've got them both in there. As soon as I don't need this for June anymore, I will just have this one for July. And I'm just doing that. I'm not using colour coding or anything like that in my bullet journal. I'm literally just highlighting on a page, like if there's a header or something I need to mark, or something important, or you know, a note, or the daily headers and things like that. That's all getting highlighted just so I can find things easily. I do like the astrology stuff. If I put a box around it, I do a shadow with a grey one, which just adds a little bit of interest to the page, and there's no actually reason for doing it. So it's not colour coded, it's just everything I need to have highlighted, that I need to be able to pick things out quickly. And then July is a different colour. So the idea is, as I'm flicking through, I'll be able to go, oh, green, purple, blue, orange. There we go, that's the colour I'm looking for. So I know which month is which. Simple as that. Not complicated at all, but I will show you this later in the month, week 3 or so, when I've got some more in it, so you can see what's working and what's not. So this is my sketchbook for this month. Obviously I will use other sketchbooks depending on what I want to do and how I want to do it, but I haven't actually done anything in this one yet. It's a virgin sketchbook currently. I was planning to do something today. Oh, and sorry, I missed this. This is a glue. This is a quickie glue from Sakura. It's like a jelly roll, but it's glue. It's wet glue. And it's really handy because it's pen size. It fits really well in here without having to have a bulky glue stick or a tape runner or something. If I'd had a tape runner this size, I would have chucked it in because it actually would have fit, but I don't. But this is really good for just like, you know, like when you've got a bit of an end of a washi tape that won't stick, or if you want to put a little bit of something on a post-it note to make it permanent. Anything like that, you want to stick down a scrap of paper to cover something, this is really handy. It's not a long-term solution type of, I will only ever use this glue again. It's just really handy to have on hand, just to do little bits and pieces that you might want to do. It's not for collaging or anything like that. You don't even have a bullet journal anymore. No, you have about 16 different journals that you just write in, don't you? I caught a special bug on a palm yesterday. I caught a horned dynastid. Poor blathers. Oh no! The foreign insects have arrived. He's an owl and he hates insects. Like, what? Yeah, I haven't broken this one in yet. I've got some sketching I need to do, but I don't think I really have time right now to do anything. But I guess we could do a little bit of thought. You know, where do I start with when I want to sketch something? Where do I just begin? This page has plastic on half of it and stuff like that, so I'm just going to use this page for stickers and things, like I normally do. And I'll just start here. But so what it is, my Patreon, yeah, Patreon again, I know, but big update. My Patreon, oh no, I use my red pen because it's my coloured pencil because it stands out better. That's why I like these pencils, because I can use them on streams and they stand out much better. You can see what I'm doing. I have five, six icons, I think it is, on my Patreon tiers. What I want to do is turn them into my own art, because there's not enough of my own art on my page, I realised. Like, there's none of my own art. If you went to my Patreon, you wouldn't know what any of my art looked like, which is a bit strange, right? So I need to fix that. So I've got, the tiers are, we need newts, bats, cats, frogs, newts, cats, bats, frogs, moths, and ravens. So I've got 6. Now I've already got a frog drawn. He's kind of toad-like, but I like him, and I think I can already do something with him. But the idea is I need to come up with some sketches so that, hang on, let me, are you impressed? Look, I don't even have to move the camera. Unfortunately, I can't like rotate it slightly. I wish I could like rotate it so it was straight for you to look at, but we can't have everything, okay? We've got zooming, we've got focusing, we've got less wobbling, but not as little as I would like, and we can zoom in and out and move across without having to fiddle with the camera. Small steps, okay? Anyway, I need to draw, we all know I can't draw cats, so that's okay. I can probably use one of these for the cat, actually. I could scan him, because the idea is I'm going to do a sketch, maybe ink it as well, and then I'm going to put it onto the iPad and put it on a digital background and finish it off digitally. He's kind of cool as well, actually. He's just a little grumpy looking. That's the best one, shape-wise, but that's a copy of somebody else's drawing, so I can't use that. These are kind of cute. Maybe I'll try one of these two. I kind of like that one, actually. It's the Cheshire Cat, and I like the Cheshire Cat, and I like his weird colours. So I could either use this one or try and redo it. So cats we've got, frogs we've got. I don't have him in front of me right this instant, but I do have a frog drawn out already. He just needs colouring. So that's sorted. I need a bat, a newt, a moth and a raven. So funnily enough, in my book here, I have a raven head, right? Because I spent some time drawing Sam the Raven. So now I've got a choice. I can either use my own sketches as reference to redraw a raven and a cat and a moth and all that, or I can just use ones that I've already got, but they're not cohesive enough. They don't fit together. They're not the same style. So I think what I need to do is use these as a reference to redraw, which is a good trick to do if you're trying to get away from, you know, you use a reference and you draw something and it looks really good, but it's basically somebody else's picture. Yeah, it doesn't work very well. This photo of the lion was actually a still from a video. So that's not the same thing. I didn't copy somebody else's photo. I took a screenshot of a video and used that. Same with this. This is from a video. But it gives me the structure. I really like this one, actually. I'm wondering if I should just draw the heads. I do have a bat somewhere, but I don't know where he is. He hangs down from the top of the page, and he's pink. And if I remember correctly, he's like this style. He's black and white, and I did the pink around the background. So that's a possibility as well. Let's put a question mark next to that one, because I will have a photo of it somewhere. I just don't have it. Actually, probably find it on my phone. I bet it's in my Google Pictures. Let me have a look. Google Photos, search. See, Google Photos, completely changed interface, just like Instagram. Everything's been updated today. It's like, anyone would think you were sitting at home bored for 3 months. Bat. Let's see if there's if he comes up. Oh, well, there's the uncoloured version. So let's download that. That's not the finished sketch, but it's the drawing of the sketch. And then I've got the workings out of the sketch to begin with. So that will be useful to have later. I think I used some of these as a reference. So yeah, so now I've got my own sketch to use as a reference again for a bat, which is good. So that's a little too cartoony. I don't want to draw that style. I like this, it matches this, and it also matches the frog, but I think this style is cleaner. So I might draw this like this. Sorry, can you see that? There we go. So I might draw this face, or this bat, but in this style. Because I really like the line work on this, but I like the sketchiness of this. Or the pose of this one. Just realised I haven't coloured that in. That's not actually part of his head. It's part of his wing. That should be black, and it's not. So, let's zoom in on that one. and take a screenshot of it, and then we've got a bigger version of it to work from without having to keep zooming the screen in. For Inktober, yeah. But don't ask me which Inktober. And don't ask me which sketchbook. I'm pretty sure it's in a Moleskine sketchbook. But which one? This is why I photograph all my things and put them in. Oh, you found it on Instagram. Oh, cool. Okay. I can't open that link on my phone from there, but I can open it on my computer. 63 weeks ago. Oh! Oh, he's different again. Ooh. He's not what I thought. He's the one from the other page. So, okay, hang on. Here we go. I'll take a photo of him from Instagram. Oh, technology, I love you. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so there's my bat, the other bat that I drew. He's cute. He's really cute. I really like that. And I like it with the colour. So I could do similar. And again, it's a head. It's kind of a head and shoulders portrait. It's like a portrait of an animal as opposed to the full animal, which is similar to this. I think I'm going to have to zoom out a bit so you can see what I'm doing again. There you go. Is that better? Yeah, there we go. So I've got the bat. Yeah, you still want a print of it. I know, I still haven't got around to sorting out my prints. I was ready to sort out all my prints and then COVID happened, which is the story of my life at the moment. Okay, so we've got, let's just do some thumbnails. So we need 6. And they need to be similar styles, and they need to be similar, they need to look like a set that actually goes together. They don't have to be, oh, you know what I mean. I don't want them all to look different. Like this one looks different to that one, which looks different to my frog. I want them to look cohesive. That's the word I'm looking for. So, a newt. So we've got the cat and the moth. The moth is easy. The moth is just going to be, so let's do newt, cat, moth. So the moth is easy. The moth is basically just going to be that shape, isn't it, on the page? And maybe with some colour behind it somehow, like that. The bat, frog, raven. So the bat is going to be sort of like that with his wings tucked up around him. He's got his wings folded in like that. Make him a little bit more tucked in that way. So that could be the bat. And then he'll have colour like this around here. I might even just use this sketch, to be honest, and just do the others in the same style, because that's the same style as the other one I was looking at. That's the same style as this one, and I was talking about redrawing that one in this style, but apparently I'd already had that idea. I already had that idea. Then I've got the raven, which I could have. He's going to be a bit too wide if I draw him that way, I guess. And I could get away with drawing him that way. He'll just have to be a little bit smaller. Let's see how it looks with the others. So we'll hold fire on that one. That's you know, that's approximately what he's going to look like. Maybe, does he look weird is what we're going to have to find out. The frog is basically going to be kind of like that with feet. And that'll work. And I might do like, might make it green, as if he's sitting on a lily pad or something. So the cat, I could use that orange cat. So when you hear people talking about thumbnailing, this is what they're talking about. Not going straight in and trying to draw what they want to draw straight away, but designing things in tiny format. This is what thumbnailing is for. Working out what you want to do before you head in and try and actually draw it. Where the hell is that orange cat? There we go. So if I have an orange cat, if I do the cat head, ears, yeah, doesn't look like a cat. I know, it's okay. Maybe he could be a little bit bigger. Looks even less like a cat now, I know. And these two are bottom heavy and this is centered. So how about if we make this one a bit top heavy? Maybe we could do that in blue. So this one could be green and this one could be blue. This one's already pink. The moth I think would look really cool in that mauve, muted mauve. The raven looks weird. It doesn't, the raven's shape doesn't fit. So I think the newt, I've already got a sketch of a newt that I like, and it's kind of that shape. He could be a bit further down, but that's the whole body. I don't know. Let's find a reference of a newt. How recognisable is a newt's head? That's what we need to know. Newt head. Okay. Oh, the heads of a newt are quite... Oh, look at him. He's cute. He's a cute newt. He's a cute newt. Look how cute he is. Oh, my goodness me. He is freaking adorable. Okay. So, could do him kind of that shape. There. He's got a hand coming out here. And a hand coming out there. You don't need to be able to see the rest of him. We can hide that. And he's got little eyes and cute little eyebrows. So again, we could give him a sky. Okay, so we've got two top. We've got two bottom. Actually, no, he'd be better with a full, a kind of an off-centre, like a central background, like the moth. With a bit underneath as well, like he's crawling out of a hole or something, would look better. Okay, so that means, so now we've got a centre and a centre, so this one needs to be a top and a more of a head, so we need a bit more of the pose. Okay, so that makes sense now. So what we're looking for more is this bit of the raven. Maybe make him a bit bigger. Move him down a bit. So maybe that bit of the raven. No, that's going to be too far across. Need to fit the beak in. You can't just draw him in the middle. Maybe that, like that. That can be our raven, and then he can have sky behind him, like that. There we go. Now those work. Okay. So now I've got an idea of what I want to do. Let me finalise my designs here. Where's my pen? I'll use this one. This one's waterproof. So this guy will have eyes like this. and his head's got a kind of a bump in it. Arms. What's his toes look like? Oh, he's got hands like that. Okay, so this is coming down. Very wide chin, kind of pointy cheeks. Little thing there for his nose. He's got little eyeballs in there. You can put a little glint in his eye somewhere like that. His arm, oh, it's a funny shape actually. It comes out like that, like a bodybuilder's, and then it comes down curved. And then he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 little toes. He's so cute. And then that goes up like that, and then he's got, you can't see his feet on this side, but I'm going to assume 1, 2, 3, 4 little toes. Normally, if it's got a toe on one side, 4 toes on one side, it's got 4 toes on the other, right? Hey, Casey. So there's that one. And then we've got the cat. No laughing at my cats, okay? Just don't. Kind of has a flattish head, and then it kind of goes hexagonal shaped, we found. Cats do not have round heads, they have hexagonal shaped heads, which is very weird. Let's give him an ear and an ear. A bit out of proportion, but that's okay, it's only a sketch. And then like that. Yep, that can work. And then we've got a moth. So moth, big head, skinny body, a couple of bloopy boops. And then they tend to come down kind of squarish with their wings folded back. So let's kind of... Moths is another thing I default to. Moths, mushrooms and swatches. That's pretty much what I draw. We could give him some markings on his wings like that. Yep. So our bat, I don't want it quite that black because then it won't fit with these. I want these to be kind of outline sketches. So we can make our little bat a little bit less dark. I mean, I like dark bats, but although I suppose, actually, no. If we did a black cat and we did a black raven and a black bat, that's 3 heavily black, like black with white, and then 3 white with black. That could work, couldn't it? Okay, that works. I need to visualise it. Let me get my pencil. Where's my pencil? Black pencil is... where? Oh. There it is. It's got short and it was hiding. So if I did this black with white markings, maybe you could have a white nose or a white face or something, or even a white tuxedo. And then this is going to be black, but with, actually, let's make him a bit more that shape. And then there's going to be bits here that will be not black. Let's do it like that on that one. There we go. And then he's got his cute little nose and his little Scooby-Doo like eyes, because my dog looks like a bat. Maybe a little bit of fur, but not all that texture like we've got there. We'll leave his head a little bit whiter. Like that. So then we got 2 black ones. And then this will be a frog. So where's my frog? Frog. Frog. Frog, frog. Oh, well, I don't have my drawing of the frog, but I have the original thing that I used to draw my drawing of the frog. So let's see, we've got big eye, big head, big mouth, big eye. Frog's eyes are weird. We could just draw him kind of like that. Maybe have his little foot on one side sticking out from behind his body. So he's kind of off the page. I think that could work. So, maybe a little bit more of his leg there. So he's like the cat, you can't see all of him, just a bit of him. That'll work. And then we've got the raven. The raven is tricky. I need a better reference for a raven because my references are not good. Raven. What have we got? Front, left, right, front, up. So this one could go, yeah, it's okay if he faces that way. Kind of like them actually. That's a free website. So how about if we take him and edit it. Let's edit that and let's adjust it and flip it so he's facing the other way. Get rid of the bits we don't need so it's bigger on the screen. That'll work. That's a better pose. Head's more up. So let's see, we've got kind of that shape. Actually, it'd be further down. That shape. In, up. Its beak would be about there. And its head kind of rounded and flat and sticks out at the back a bit. Okay, he's too big. He's too big now. Okay. So that's what we're aiming for. That's got a really bad pigeon. That does not look like a raven. What the hell is going on? It's because ravens are, if you look, like if you think of a bird head, you think of a bird head as round, right? With a beak sticking out. But this is actually, if you look at how wide his head is, here, he's actually almost more of a square with a bit of a beak sticking out. He's a very strange shape. I'm going to have to try this again. In fact, there's a triangle. Okay, there's an equilateral triangle. So let's try doing that. There's a triangle. And the triangle, his eye is there. So there's his eye. The triangle, his beak sticks out a little bit further. And in line with the top. So his beak is going to be over here, which is way bigger than I thought it was. See, his beak's not big enough. His beak should have been over here. And then what sticks out there? So there's the top of the triangle. So we've almost got a square there sticking out. And then on this side, we've got kind of a U-shape bucket thing, kind of that shape. And then the bottom is just rounded and then sticking out. So his actual shape is these beaks are hard, man. His actual shape is a bit more like that. That's a bit better. There we go. Now we've got a proper bird head shape. And he's got kind of a marking in his fur where you can see his fur. His feathers, his face feathers and his neck feathers. So these are back feathers and these are face feathers. And then he's got chin feathers underneath. So he can be black, which will detract from the fact that he's very badly drawn. Oh, that's not black. So he might be black this way, and then we could maybe do a little bit of marking on him. Leave a highlight on his thing. There we go, that's better. Still not very good, but it's better. He's still too squashed. He's too... Maybe I need to do the whole thing in that box. Okay, let's have another go. Where's the original box? Maybe I need to do him more like the cat. So his head will be there, and then you'll see his body coming down like that, which should give him a beak there, top of his head, back of his head, bit sticking out. That's a bit better now. See, that looks better. That actually looks like a bird now. Yeah, let's do that. Obviously, I've got to fix where they're going to fit on the thumbnail. I don't want bits of them sticking off the edge of the thumbnail, of course. Can even get a bit of his wing in there. If I do it in, doesn't have to be detailed, but I can do white details on the black. That's much better. There we go. Now he actually looks like a raven. Thought we were never going to get there. So raven. Yes. Okay. So what colours did we have? We have mauve. That will look really good with that mauve colour. We've already got pink for this one. The frog can be green. Maybe make the raven blue, because Raven's sky, right? The newt, we could do like a goldy, sandy colour. And the cat, let's do him orange. That's a nice colour combo. So we've got a pink and a mauve, a green and a blue, a gold and an orange. Like orangey red, slightly warmer kind of colour. There we go. So that, I've now got my thumbnails. So now I can actually go in and start doing some bits with the actual drawings. Now this bat, I may actually just use this bat, but take out some of the black and reshape him, because I can do that digitally. And this is just watercolour wash. So for all of these, I'll just use my watercolour washes. Let's put some colour on them, even though they've got red all over them now. It doesn't really matter. Let's just, oh, now I'm erasing the black as well, because that's clever. Oh, I don't need to do those two. Okay, so let's just colour the cat in black again. Maybe have him, give him a white nose and a bit of a tuxedo on the front. Okay, so watercolour brush. So I really like this Quin Gold. I think that would look awesome on him, because newts tend to be rocks and sand, right? The bat is this pink already. Ooh. I must have mixed it with something else because it's not that colour. Maybe I put a bit of this in it. There we go. The cat, let's leave the cat for a moment. I like the muted colours, so I'm going to use this malachite green, I think, for the frog. Ooh, that's a bit dark. There we go. A muted green for our frog. Oops. Use that muted purpley colour that I love. Oh, that's not it. That's brown. What? Can I move my colours about? Or am I just being a numpty? Oh, I'm just being a numpty. Using the wrong colour. So that'll be the moth. That purpley colour. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. The moth in the purpley colour. We'll use the blue, but the muted blue. These are all Daniel Smith colours that just happen to match the... Yeah, the ink's waterproof. All of my pens are waterproof. I have hardly any pens that are not waterproof because I don't like non-waterproof fine liners. Well, that's not true. I have lots of pens that aren't waterproof, but my lining pens, the pens I draw with, the black pens, are all waterproof. I have very few non-waterproof black pens, is what I'm trying to say. Second one looks like a penguin. Yeah, it does. That looks like a king penguin, doesn't it? He needs one of those tufty orange crescents on his head. God, it's gone so dark. I think it's going to rain. Oh, I didn't put my studio light on. No wonder it feels dark. See if I can do it without turning the computer off like I did the other day. There we go. God, look at that. Now you can see what I'm doing. So, no, that's quite orange, that one. So we need another muted colour for that cat. What if we go with a brown? What about that muted brown, that neutral brown? That's quite a nice colour. Let's try him. Yeah. black cat against a muted colour wall. Or we could even do a bit of grey, maybe. Grey cat, a black cat in grey. Maybe he's sitting in the dark. Maybe he's a goth cat. Yeah. Oh, I like those colours together. That's really cool. So, let me see. Oh, maybe it's that one I was meant to use. Oh, there we go. There's the muted pink I was looking for. Yeah, these are all Daniel Smith watercolours that just happen to match the muted Liquitex ink range, which I absolutely adore. I love those colours. That's my jam. The mermaid markers match them too, so I've got that option. I just love that colour combo. Okay, so I've got, swatch my colours so I know which colours I'm using. Did I literally just pick up the wrong colour? No, because it's supposed to have a bit of pink in it. There we go. A little bit of, whoops, brush is not clean. That's the gold colour. I've also got Ecoline brush pens in this colour palette as well. It's just, this is the colour palette I enjoy. That's the purple. Which is that beautiful greyed lavender that is probably my favourite colour after black. The green. Need clean water. That's the green. Again, too much water, too much paint. The green is really thick. There we go. The green, the grey, which is a very bluey grey. It's like a stormy grey because it's Payne's grey. And then the blue is quite a warm blue. Did I use that one or that one? I think I used that one. No, it's not enough contrast. I think I used that one. There we go, that's the one I used. That's better. Actually, I like the mix of the two together. It tones the blue down a little bit. I think that's a very cool combination. I like those colours. I like the muted colours. I like the rainbow but not a rainbow look to it, and I think it's very me. Those colours are very me. So here's what I do when I need to write down what colours are, but I don't know what the number is or what the name of the colour is. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I did 4 and those two together, didn't I? 4 plus 3. 1, 4 and 3. And then this one is 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this one is row 3, number 1. This one is row 3, number 2, 4, 6, 7. This one is row 1, number 6. And this one is row 2, number 3. That's how I write down what paints I'm using. Because I only ever use my paints this way round. I always carry my palette this way round with the yellow at the top left. So I know now when I come back to this and I'm going, oh, all these colours look the same. Which one did I use? 3. 1, 2, 3. Number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's that one. And then this one, row 1, 4 plus 3. 4 first indicates that that's the most colour. So I put down... So row 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, I put down that one, plus 3, I added a little bit of number 3 into it. That's a useful trick for being able to work out which colours you used. And obviously you might need to add what palette you're in, but I've only got 2 palettes, so. It was, but only very slightly. It doesn't, I actually want just the one colour, the number 3 colour. I picked the second colour by mistake. And then I kind of washed it out and put the next colour on it, so. What I actually want to use is 2 number 3. Because the blue won't scan properly, unless it's a red blue. Green blues don't scan very well. Red blues scan really well. So by the time I've scanned it, it'll look this colour. I know, I'm quite clever with these good ideas. So one of my projects this month is to update. Originally I was going to do like the Meds 100 heads or something and try and catch up with some of that, but I'm kind of enjoying just doing those as and when I feel like it, and I'll see how long it takes me to get to 100, you know? So I don't want to push it. I don't care. I don't really want to do something every single day, just for having the sake of having another 30. So is there a way for you to find the name and number of the 2-3 blue? Yes. Somewhere in one of my books I've got all of these swatched. It's a Daniel Smith colour. Oh no, it's not. That one is Holbein Ultramarine. The second colour that I used. So this one is Holbein Cerulean. This one is the Daniel Smith blue from the gem set, which Amber will be able to tell you what it's called. And this one is Holbein Ultramarine. And if you mix those two together, you get that. But I actually want this because this will scan better. This will give me that. Could be Lunar Blue. Probably is. No, you gave me Lunar. The purple is Amethyst. That purple is Amethyst, that's that one. Because it's got the shiny bits in it. It's kind of glittery. And I've also got Moon Glow or Lunar... Mayan Blue, that's the one. Yes, it's Mayan Blue. This is Mayan Blue from Daniel Smith. And then the Lunar one is the other purple, which is that one. It's not the Moon Glow, it's the Lunar Violet. They look very, very similar. The Moon Glow, the Lunar Violet and the Amethyst all look very similar. But this is more of a... It's more of a purple Payne's Grey than a blue Payne's Grey. Payne's Grey is a blue colour. Lunar Blue is like indigo blue. Yeah, it's the next one down from this. It's darker than this, isn't it? So this is the Mayan Genuine. Oh, that's this one then. That's the Shadow Violet, not Lunar Violet. I think they've renamed some of them. Some of them are not named the same over here as they are over there, which is really annoying. So that's this one. That's the Shadow Violet. Yeah, it's kind of a combo. If you took, like, Payne's Grey looks really dark and black, but when you spread it out, it goes blue. If you took exactly the same thing and had it spread out to go purple, that's what this does. And then this one, this amethyst colour, has mica in it, so it's slightly sparkly. It gives a slightly... It won't pick up on camera, it never does. But the background colour of it is the lavender grey, which I adore. Muted grey, lavender. Oh my god, it's my jam. That's the grey ink. I have this in the heavy acrylic, the muted acrylic, and the ink. And I've got 2 bottles of everything because it's a limited edition. At some point they won't use it anymore. Look at that colour. Oh, woof. It's like you add that one and that one together, you get muted grey. It's beautiful. Beautiful colour. lavender grey, the Prismacolor lavender grey. It's my jam. I use that more than anything. I bought a full box of 12 of those because I went through so many of them at once. In fact, I've actually got a little stubby version. Look at my roots, man. I look like a skunk. How? Like, my hair is naturally red, okay? But it's a kind of a wishy-washy, it goes red in the sun and the rest of the time it kind of looks weird. So I amp it up with a bit more of a vibrant kind of coppery colour when I want it to be red. And my roots always look really dark and brown. But when you put it against black, look at me. I look like a skunk. I look like a skunk. I've got to do my roots. It's happening today. My hair dye arrived this morning. I got to do my roots. I look like a skunk. What the hell? That's why my hair's a bit of a mess and a bit greasy looking, because it's permanent dye, so I always leave it a few days to get a bit greasy before I put permanent hair dye on it. And then I've got to try and cut my fringe because it may be a little long. I did this to Katie yesterday. We were having one of our admin meetings and I went, Katie, I think I need to cut my fringe. And she couldn't stop laughing. She thought it was hilarious. Oh, I guess she had to be there. But anyway. You know, go broke buying loads of gorgeous watercolours. Honestly, most of these, I tell you, the best thing to do, I've got Amber's box still sitting here because I haven't got to the post office with it yet because COVID. But Amber had tubes, 7mm tubes of watercolours, right? She bought some little pans and she sent me half a pan of each of her Daniel Smiths. You can get about 3.5 pans from each 7mm tube. Okay, so these are half pans and she half filled them. So she basically gave me a quarter of a pan. Let them dry completely, wrapped them in cellophane and then sent them to me. And I've got the Holbein colours and I've got 6 of those. So I'm going to do the same and send her the 6. So we've both got 12 different colours, but we've only bought 6 tubes each. One Book July, my one thing is no new supplies, including watercolours, and your list is very long. Yes, well, you know, when in doubt, Pamela, you've missed the beginning of the stream, but what we were talking about earlier is when in doubt, swatch. So, you could pull out all the supplies that you've already got and rediscover some. And at the same time, you'll be able to find some that you'll go, you know what, I really don't like these. I'm going to give these away. Holbein and Daniel Smith are great watercolours. Yeah, I like Holbein and Daniel Smith. Somewhere in here, I've got a lavender grey pencil. It's not that one. That's too purple. That's the lilac. And that's the beige. Oh, have I used up my lavender grey? Look at the size of this pencil. That's my Parma Violet, because you can't get Parma Violet anymore. I use that a lot for shading faces, not surprisingly. This is what I do with all my nubs of pencils. When they get those so small they need a pencil holder, I pop them in this bag, and then I've got a nice little pack of pencils for when I want to use in my journal and I don't want to get my massive tin of pencils out. I just want to do a face or something. Huh, what was I looking for? I don't remember. I'm thirsty now, hang on. I got sidetracked. Kathy Johnson uses a lavender grey coloured pencil to sketch with sometimes. That sounds nice. I don't know who Kathy Johnson is, but it sounds nice. I like to use it for shadows and backgrounds and things, so I don't tend to sketch with it. There is one there's this one, which is quite similar. Is that it? No. No, that's not there either. Apparently I've taken all my lavender greys out. I'll find them all in a pot somewhere where I've been swatching them all together. And that's an... Oh, Kathy Johnson, the journaler. The journaler, Kathy Johnson. Oh, I know who you mean. She does nature sketches and things like that, and illustrated urban sketching and things like that sort of stuff. I know who you mean. Several watercolour books, yes. I know who you mean now. I couldn't think of the name. I was like, don't recognise that one. Yes, I do know who you mean. So that's that sorted out. And what I need to do is put together a header. I'm thinking maybe of using my header from my videos, which has already got lots of examples of my work on it, which is this one. And maybe I'll just put in a few more sketchy bits into there instead of it not just being all writing, and some of it's like other people's art and stuff like that where it's collages. So yeah, some of it I can use and some of it I can't. But I've got that on my iPad already in layers, so all I've got to do is change the layers. That was why I did it like that, so I can redo different things. And I want to include more animals, because a lot of what I draw is animals now. I discovered, at some point, that while I do enjoy drawing pretty girls, as we all do, my primary thing is, it's not just that I like drawing pretty girls. I don't. I like drawing red-headed witches. That's what I like drawing. That's why you very rarely see much diversity in my art. It's not like I draw lots of different white girls but don't draw any black girls or anything like that. I do actually draw different ethnic minorities. I like to draw... I've drawn a Japanese girl before. I've got a beautiful African woman portrait with a big turban thing. Oh, she looks like a queen. She's amazing. Not my art. Well, the art is good, but the photo I took it from, it was amazing. She's a model and she's superb. She's got that really almost ebony black skin that shines when it catches the light. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, yeah, it's not like I draw white girls like a lot of artists. Oh, you only draw white girls, and therefore I should be more ethnically diverse. I don't even draw blonde girls. And I only draw dark-haired girls. Usually I draw black hair on girls. If I've got to the stage with my red hair where I'm kind of bored and I'm thinking about doing it black, as soon as I start drawing black-haired girls, that's when I'm thinking about changing my hair. But most of what I draw is red-headed witches. So I don't feel like I need to diversify my sketches, because I pretty much only draw red-headed witches with the occasional black-haired witch. I'm okay with that. But I draw mostly animals these days. And I'm enjoying drawing animals. I want to finish my wolf at some point. This has been going on since June last year, or possibly the year before. I don't know. This is a huge painting in my kitchen. And it's quite tiring to work on because it's a lot of physical movement. It's not just like sitting painting, which I can do for hours on end because all I'm moving is my arm. This is physical. I literally, to do the top of the painting, I have to stand up to do it. And then I have to get down low to do the bottom of it, because to get even with the painting, I have to put the easel right up, sit down, and then bend down like this to reach the bottom of the painting. So it's literally like a physical workout. So I've got to literally do it when I've got the energy to do it. but I'm trying to make room in here for it so that it's literally right. Keep saying literally. I need to stop that. That's annoying. It's annoying me. It must be annoying you. I need to move it into here so I've got it in front of me. I think what I want to do is put it over there and create a little easel painting corner where I can easily stand up and move about and sit down and do what I need to do to work on the large painting. But I can still, I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to mess with my cameras, but technically I could swing this camera around that way and then you'd be able to see what I was doing over there. So I could actually do that. So that's my next project, is to set this little corner up as a painting station. But that's not going to happen right now. I'm still going through stuff. I'm forcing myself to go through supplies and actually get rid of stuff. Because what I keep doing, tell me I'm not the only person who does this, okay? You go through all your stuff with the intention of having a big clear out. And somehow everything makes it into being cleared out and put into boxes or put into bags to go somewhere. Whether it's posted to somebody else, sent to a friend, going to the thrift store, oh, that was expensive, I'll sell it, whatever, okay? And then 6 months later, you find those boxes that still haven't made it out of the house, and you're like, what's in those boxes? I don't remember what I put in those. So you go through it all and you're like, that's where that was. I've been looking at that for like 3 weeks. So it all comes out. And then the next time you have a clear out, you're like, I still haven't used these since the last time I took them out of the box. So they're definitely going in a box this time. That's what's been happening with my aqua markers. I keep putting them in a box to send to somebody else who will appreciate them, and I know they will. I don't like them. I prefer the Ecoline pens, and I don't need both. So the aqua markers are going to someone else. 3 times I've put them in a box to give to someone else, and 3 times I've pulled them back out and said, why don't I use these? Why are these in a box? Why am I not using these? And every time I swatch them and I go, oh yeah, I prefer the Ecoline brush pens, and they go back in the box. At some point, they have to go to the person who's actually going to use them. Although I don't think they're going to dry out anytime soon, because I've had them since they came out. When Letraset first brought the aqua markers out, I bought the whole set because I really liked them. At the time, they were fantastic for what I was working on. They don't work for how I work now. But I had the whole set. And they were great. Until they weren't. And I found something I prefer. And they're still going strong. They don't dry out as long as you don't store them vertically. That's a good idea, Burgess. That's exactly what I need to do. I need to put everything in the box inside a bag or something. Or, just together with an elastic band around all the pencils or something like that. And I need to put a post-it note in saying, don't like these. Why? Like the aqua markers, put them all together, put a post-it note on it saying, prefer Ecolines to these. Give to X. And then the next time I open the box, because I haven't actually managed to get it to anybody, I'll open it and I'll look at the post-it note and go, oh, I'm supposed to have sent that to such and such. And there it is in my hand without all the, why am I not using these? I should put these on my table so I can swatch them. And in 2 weeks, I'll swatch them and remember that I don't like them. And then they'll go back in the box over there. I'm trying to cut out that bit. Less friction. I'm doing the Be More Dog thing. I'm sticking to my Be More Dog. You do that too. If you don't donate items in a week, then there's no point in boxing them. Yeah. Oh, I've written it in my bullet journal. I've written all that in my bullet journal and I still don't get anywhere with it. I already know I need to put a post-it note on stuff. I'm going to do that already. I don't need to write it down. But rather than just putting a post-it note on the box, I need to put everything, post-it notes on individual things. And then put a list on the box of what's in there. So when I go, oh, I've been looking for that, and I go rummaging around and pull out that little baggie or whatever, there's the post-it note going, put this back, you don't like these because you've got this, you don't need it. What I actually need to do is get some more Ecoline brush pens. I need to be able to go out to a shop and swatch them though, so I can't do that yet. I don't want to buy them online. I can't afford the entire set because they're quite expensive. And I don't like enough of them to buy a whole 5-pack of a particular colour. Like, I like 2 of the purples, 2 of the blues, and 1 of the pinks, but they all come in a 5-pack. So there's 3 or 4 in each box that I don't like. And I would never use, so there's no point buying them. So I'd rather go to a shop where I can buy individual pens and work out what colours I actually want. Been in lockdown for months, so the post office hasn't been a priority. Oh God, yeah. Well, I already had a pile of stuff to post out because me getting to the post office, every time I try to get to the post office, my car won't start, or I have a bill comes in and I don't have enough money for the post because post is expensive. There's always something happens, and then COVID. It's £35 for 20 of them. $35. Yeah, it's more expensive here though. Put it in a box or an envelope, tape it up, and at least put the name on the label if you don't have the address at the time. Yes, that's what I'm going to try and do, is get everything boxed up ready. But all that stuff I did just, you know, randomly giving it away because it was stuff that I cleared out last time and I didn't need. And, you know, people said if they wanted to be considered for it, and I just picked somebody at random. Those haven't gone out yet, and those are boxed up here with people's addresses on. It's just been one thing after another, after another, after another. It's different if somebody has a commission, you see, because the postage is included in the commission. But if it's a giveaway something, I have to put that out of my own pocket, which is not always possible. Especially when you've got a car like mine that randomly won't start and needs to have work done. Or 2 dogs that need to go to the vet. You have Blackwing pencils to send to Courtney and they wanted $170 to ship them. Are you kidding me? Were they going to, like, send them on Concorde and deliver them by hand in a royal flagged black limo on a gold platter? I like Blackwings, but it's like a moleskin, okay? There's a lot of hype about them because they're hip and they're cool, and everybody's like, ooh, moleskin, ooh, Blackwing. But in my experience, you either like them or you don't. I like them because they don't smudge, but I don't love them. I have a couple. I have an all black one, which Amber sent me as a gift. I've got a silver one that I really liked, and I've got the Christmas edition that I really liked. But I don't go overboard for them. Actually, my favourite regular pencil, the pencil I sketch with most is these blue and red pencils. Because you can't erase them very well. So it forces you to actually draw rather than just pretending you know how to draw. You have to actually put some thought into it. So it's like sketching with a ballpoint pen because you can't erase it. But the pencils, the regular pencils, I like best. Number 2 Dixon Ticonderoga. You know, the ones you use at school. And cheap Bic ballpoints, yeah. My favourite mechanical pencil, the one that's most comfortable to hold, because my fingers are getting I'm getting old, starting to get arthritis in the old fingers, bit of cramp here and there, is actually my, do I not have it in, oh there it is, it's fallen down the middle, my Faber-Castell. This is the Faber-Castell Polymatic, and it's so comfortable to hold because it's quite thick and chunky. Look how big and chunky it is. And it's got a triangular thing with a soft grip, but it's not super soft, it's more like a ballpoint. But it's got ridges on it and stuff, and it's so comfortable to hold for long term. Because it's smaller where your fingers are and it's bigger where your hand is. So it just, whoever designed this pen really knew about ergonomics. I have never had finger ache or anything from using this pencil. But I do also like the leads from the Pilot Colorinos. So I think what I'm going to do is get some of the red and the blue leads from the Pilot Colorinos and put them in here. Because they do this, the 0.7s now for the Colorinos. And then I don't have to keep buying these. I can just have all my leads, put them in here, and just swap out the leads that I want. Black wings are nice, but then they're nothing to write home about, I don't think, particularly, personally. I mean, they're lovely, and they're nice to have, but it's kind of like a fancy ballpoint pen, a fancy fountain pen. It's nice to have if you really love it, and it's nice to have a couple of collectible ones, but you don't need it. It won't, for me, it doesn't perform any differently to a regular fountain pen. Ergonomic stuff is very necessary when you have arthritis, and I have very stiff joints. I haven't got full-blown arthritis yet, but I have very stiff joints because I'm always using my hands, and I've just started getting it in this finger now. That's why I keep rubbing this finger, because I woke up this morning and it's all down this side of my finger. But yeah, it's like the moleskins. You know, you either absolutely adore moleskins despite all their downsides because you just love the feel or the size or how they look, which is where I am. I just love moleskins. I actually like the paper. I think I'm one of the few people in the world who likes the moleskin paper. I love this thin paper. I just do. I don't care about Tom River paper. I love this paper. And I love this sketchbook paper. It's not quite as good as the original sketchbook paper. I preferred that, but this Art Plus paper is not bad. I mean, I threw all that on it, and look, there's not even a warp on the back of the page. A very slight warp where I added a load more water to that green, but you know. I just love this paper, and I like doing that with it because I like the feel of the roughness of these mica watercolours against this paper. I'm not a huge fan of Tom River paper. I mean, I like it. It's nice. But I don't have that, oh, I must have Tom River paper thing that everybody else seems to have. My favourite paper like that, I would rather have the 013 Midori paper, which is, it's similar to Tom River paper, but it's not the same. It's not by Tom River, it's a different one. It's like the Writers Bureau paper, that's slightly different as well, and the 7 Seas. It's all similar paper, but it's all by different companies. But I like the Midori 013 paper, which is a bit more like onion paper than Tom River paper. I think I'm the only person in the world who gets annoyed by that crinkly noise it makes after you use it. Everybody else is like, oh, listen to the crinkle. And I'm like, stop it! Don't make me have to skip 10 minutes of your video because you keep playing with the paper. Oh, anyway. The Moleskine watercolour notebooks. Yeah, I like the watercolour notebooks. The only thing I don't like about them is that every so often you get one that's got glue all over it. And you can't paint on that particular page because when you try and paint on it, it'll leave patches. But you don't know that until after you've painted on it. It's not like you can look at the page or feel the page and go, oh, it's got a bit of glue on there, I'll skip that page and use it for something else. You can't do that. You wear compression gloves. Yeah, I used to wear gloves all the time, like fingerless gloves to keep my wrists warm. But I don't like having anything on my fingers. But my wrists are okay these days. It's moved into my tendinitis has gone because I've started using, several years ago I started using ergonomic stuff and, you know, being more mindful of how I'm using my stuff so I didn't get carpal tunnel and things. And all that's gone, but my fingers have gone really stiff and I'm definitely getting arthritis in my joints, which there's nothing you can do about. You know, you get arthritis, you get arthritis. All you can do is try and handle the inflammation and be mindful of it and not overwork your joints. There's not an awful lot you can do for it other than that. But yeah, this finger hurts today. Ow. Anyway. Well, I've made a start in my sketchbook, and as you can see, it's not perfect. It's not even close to perfect. It's a real mess, actually. But when you do something like this in your sketchbook, and then you come back to it and you go, oh my God, that's such a mess. Ugh. What was I thinking? I mean, I know I was working on stuff, but jeez, it's a mess. But that's what working things out is for. That's what your sketchbook is for. It's to make a mess. Rather than picking up a beautiful piece of paper, getting all your paints out and going, right, I'm going to draw a bat upside down with a pink background and making a mess. You don't need to make a mess. Work it out here first. So now I know that I can, and again, I like to make notes on my stuff. So this one, I can adjust existing. And this one, I might even be able to use this and desaturate it. Are you strange for loving that creative mess? No, I like it. I find it very dynamic. But, you know, other people look at stuff like this in other people's sketchbooks. People look at this, you saw this in a sketchbook and you'd go, oh yeah, I was doing this, this is my colour. You'd be like, wow, look at that. That's what a proper sketchbook should look like. But if you did this in your own sketchbook, 9 times out of 10, you'd be like, oh my God, it's such a mess. Because you always judge your own stuff more harshly. I don't. I'm like, of course it's a mess. It's supposed to be a mess. I was working something out. Give yourself a break. Everything does not have to be perfect. But I might be able to use him. Desat orange cat. Okay, so there's an idea. This is the kind of thing I do. So, could I use this cat, desaturate him, adjust him a little bit in a digital way, and turn him into what I actually need without having to redraw him from scratch? So let's get him in the light and take a photo. There we go. Let's adjust the photo to make it the right colours because it's not bright enough. No, have to tune it. Too dark. Bit brighter, a bit more saturated. Brighten the highlights a bit. There we go, that's a bit closer to what the original looks like. So I'll save that. So I've got multiple copies to work with, right? Now what I'm going to do is desaturate it. So where's the desaturation thing? Oh, it's in here, saturation, there we go. So let's desaturate it, which is basically turn it black and white. Okay. Needs more contrast because it's too grey. Desaturated is grayscale, so it needs more black, more contrast. So let's up the contrast a bit. Actually, that's right up, like that. Now let's do the shadows and highlights. So I want the shadow bits to be just a little bit darker, a little bit more contrast. And I want the highlights to be just a little bit more white. So it's more black and white with a bit of grey rather than grayscale. And how does he compare to the bat that I had? So there's the two. Oh, why can't I make that bigger? So there's the bat, and there's the cat. Well, by the time I put that colour behind him, I might not use grey, I might use orange. I might do what I was originally going to do and use a muted red. So let me find a red colour. Actually, oh, that octopus colour would work. Where's that? Where's my mermaid markers? Is it octopus or lobster or something like that? Lobster and octopus. Oh, there's two of them. Okay, so it could be either of them. Oh, it's octopus. It's octopus. Could use that instead of the grey. Look at that lovely muted red. It's going to be too dark over this now because it's got grey on it already, but just to give an idea. So that's a bit too dark. Oh yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. So that's octopus. Mermaid marker. So I don't need that one anymore. Although those two are quite similar. How similar is that pink? If I use that pink. Oh, actually, that's very pink. That's not that pink. That's very, very pink. It's a lot pinker than I thought it was. That must be this one. Yeah, that's this one. It's a much more pinky colour. So that is the Gills mermaid marker. And if I get really lazy, I'll just use my mermaid markers instead of getting my watercolours out. Because mermaid markers are just as easy to use. Easier, in fact, because they don't take as long to dry. And I don't need to blend them out or anything. I'm just filling in a background to make it look watercolory like this. So I could use... That could be the green. It's got a little bit more colour to it, but it's still a very muted green, but it's a more blue green. And then we've got that really dark bluey colour. Now I can never remember which one of these is which. Because I always think it's squid ink, but I don't think it's squid ink. Oh, kelp is the green I normally like. See, these are the colours. These colours, right? Here we go. For those who like this colour palette as well, these are the colours of the mermaid markers. These are the colours of the Liquitex acrylic inks. That's the grey, shark's eye, muted turquoise, squid ink, which is that one. Yeah. Once they dim down a little bit once they've dried, as you can see. The red, the muted violet matches octopus, and Gills is the one from the actual set, which is the bright pink, but actually this one matches the muted pink, which is jellyfish. That's this one. So the muted pink matches jellyfish, and the muted violet is actually a red, and it matches octopus. So I can use that colour palette, but I also like this blue, which is Blue Bottle, which is a bit more bluey coloured, a bit more reddish coloured. No, that's squid ink. This is Blue Bottle. Which is a little bit more toned down. So it's got a little bit more of a red tinge to it than a green. So it'll photograph better. Because this is going to be digital on a digital page. So it needs to be... But that's what this is for. That's what your sketchbook is for. Trying different things. So this is Jellyfish. I could use that instead of the red, actually. That might go with that set better than that red, because the red is quite bright. I've got the pink is quite bright. Whoops. Yeah, that's what happens with... This is why you don't store your mermaid markers downwards, because they get air in them, and then they splooch everywhere. And here's how to fix it, right? You undo the thing. I can't tip it up to show you, but you undo the thing. You squeeze it as if you were squeezing air out of it. Okay? You put it back together. And then you slowly let go so it draws air back in through and brings some of the paint back up here. And that was without even pressing it. I wasn't even pressing it. I don't think I've ever pressed these since the day I got them. I started them off, and then every time I pick them up, they just blew everywhere. Which is why they're in a container like this, to stop them turning over. And they leak like crazy, these things. I love them. They're amazing pens. Jane did a fabulous job on picking colours and stuff, but oh my God. Do they leak or do they leak? For people who are struggling with the idea of messing up your favourite sketchbook, have a junk sketchbook where you draw crap. Yeah, you can, but to me that's not solving the problem. What you're doing is having a sketchbook for best and a sketchbook for crap. Well, until you've drawn it, how do you know if it's going to go in the best sketchbook or the crap sketchbook? Your sketchbook is not for finished art. If you get a good piece of art in your sketchbook, that's a bonus. That's a, wow, let's take a photograph of this and stick it on Instagram because I actually really like that one. It's not meant to be for finished pieces. The idea is that once you've done a finished piece, you know, like if I really like this, I mean, this is terrible. It's wonky, it's the paint, it's badly painted, but it's an idea. If I wanted to make this an actual piece of art, I'd do it on proper paper with proper equipment and I'd draw it properly, you know. That's not what this is. It's not a finished piece of art, it's a sketch. The idea is that you draw it in rough and then you redraw it. You don't find, well, you do find it on self-published Amazon books quite a lot, but you don't generally find, you know, somebody writes a book in one draft, sits down, writes out their book or their short story or whatever, hands it to the publisher and bam, it goes into a magazine. That's not how it works. You write your story, then you spell check it, then you go back and read it properly to see if there's any things that you've messed up. Because, you know, one minute Frank walked out into the garden and the next minute he's coming out of the bedroom and you're like, how is he in two places at once? I have to fix that. You know, you've got to treat your sketchbook for what it is. A sketchbook is for sketching. And sketches are not finished pieces. They might be done. You know, this one's done. There's nothing else I want to add to it, but it's not a finished piece of art. It's a sketch in my sketchbook. To be a finished piece of art, first off, I would probably have to redraw it because it's badly drawn in the first place. Might look good to you, but trust me, it's badly drawn. But even if I was going to use this as it is, I would still have to scan it and then digitally alter it because say I was going to make a print out of it. Yeah, I could just do this and scan it and digitally alter it. Bam, done. Print Everybody loves it. But this has got bits of paint flaking off because I used cheap, crappy paint. I didn't use a proper paint. All of this has got double shading on it that shouldn't be there. I'd have to even that out because it doesn't even look like it's meant to be there. It looks terrible. The colours, there's bits of colours that aren't even coloured in properly here. And there's bits where they've got, because I used mermaid markers, I got splashes of water on it, and there's bits of, you know, bits of paint missing. Because I've done this so many times with the page, there's bits of, you know, black and colour. This should be pure white. These should be pure white. They're not pure white. That would have to be digitally altered. Because it's not about, oh, you did this in your sketchbook and you don't think it's a completed thing, but I absolutely love it. Can I have a copy of it? That's not how it works. What I envisioned for this piece was not this in this format. It at least needs to be tidied up and have the skull shrunk and stretched into place. This was supposed to be pure white with a bit of grey, and it's not pure white anymore. That would have to be altered because this is not my vision of what this was meant to be. It's just a sketch. You'll have a blank page, it all has possibility. Yeah, I don't understand people with their, oh, well, it's a blank page and I don't know what to do. When in doubt, swatch. Draw a cat that looks like a guinea pig. Draw a bit of metal to practice perspective. Swatch some more colours. Take some colours and try to colour match them. Cut out bits of collage and stick it together and go, I'll paint it later. I can't be bothered right now. Do some writing. Whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. Just... But don't sit there and prejudge what you're going to do. Because the danger with having a good sketchbook and a crap sketchbook, so you've got permission to mess up. You don't need permission to mess up. Mistakes happen. I'm a professional artist and I mess up all the time. Did you see that raven I drew earlier? Did you see that cat? I mean, come on. I did a tutorial on how to draw a cat without knowing how to draw a cat. Because half of the battle of learning how to draw a cat is not following somebody else's instructions on how to do it right. It's learning how to do it wrong. It's more important, it's like somebody said earlier, it's more important to learn how not to draw a cat than it is to learn how to draw a cat. Because once you know how not to do it, you can just get on with it and draw a passable cat. If you're trying to draw a cat, you'll go for perfection. And as Salvador Dali once said, don't worry about perfection, you'll never achieve it. Yeah, perfectionism is just fear. Oh, but what if I get it wrong? Well, what if you do? Answer the question, you know, that because that is what it is. It's just you going, oh, but I might, what if I mess it up? Well, what if you do? Okay, so you do a sketch in your sketchbook. It's absolutely horrific. Who's going to see it? Nobody. Except you. And yeah, exactly. It's all learning. Blind contour is where you draw without lifting your pen off the paper and without looking at your page. So you're literally drawing something that you're looking at. Like, I could draw a blind contour. Let me do it. I could draw a blind contour of the lamp that's right in front of me. So it's... I'm trying to position my glasses so I can't see my thing out the corner of my eye. So you put your pen down and you go, okay, it's got a curve, and it comes down, and then it's got a little bit there, then it goes back up, and then there's a bit here, and that's kind of shaded. And then this bit is round here, and then there's a bit that sticks up there, and that's kind of shaded. And then this bit comes down here, goes back up there, and then there's this bit here that matches the bit up top, and that's kind of shaded, and then it's all on this one stem like that. Okay, so that's what I drew. And that's what I was looking at. See? It's recognisable, but it's crap. But it's good fun. And the more you do it, the more you get good at... See, mine's recognisable. You would look at that and go, what the hell is that? But if you go, well, that's a blind contour drawing of that, you can see it. There's the top, there's the shaded bit, there's the bit that sticks up in the middle, there's the lamp. I've almost got that completely right there. There's the bit, there's the stem. You can see it. It's kind of like Picasso-like almost. Because it's all disjointed and weird. But the more you do it, the better you get at urban sketching. Yeah. And that's why I'm quite good at this, in that I can do this and it's recognisable if you can see what I was looking at. You know, you could have a picture of the whole room and go, okay, can you find the bit that I drew? And you go, oh yeah, it's that lamp. But it's not recognisable as a lamp. But the more you do it, the better you get at, right, I'm looking at what I'm drawing and I'm going, okay, so there's the lamp and it's kind of this shape. And it's got this tulip thing. And then it's got a little pointy bit there. Do the shadow like that, and then there's a darker piece here as well, and then this is quite dark, so let's darken up this line and make this a bit more dark and overlap it so it's clear it's on the outside, and boom, there you go, you could draw a lamp, you know? I haven't done blind contouring in class because it's literally just look at what you're looking at instead of look at what you're drawing. There's nothing to teach. Well, it's frozen, is it? What's going on? It's probably YouTube. No, according to this, my connection's fine. Yeah, it froze up a little bit, but there's nothing wrong with the stream. It's not me. Must be YouTube. Anyway. That must be the universe telling me it's time to stop. And the dogs sound like they're hungry. Hello, Mr. Oh, it's tea time, is it? It's tea time. Is it tea time, Mr. Ow! Bloody! Ow, ow, ow! Claws! Bloody hell, that hurt. Ouch! Manhandling me. Yeah, it was YouTube, it wasn't me. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. Yeah, there's no point teaching this in class because it's literally just what I've just done. That's it. I can't teach that. I can't teach you how to not look at what you're drawing. But if you struggle with not looking at what you're drawing, the best thing to do is just sit with your book in front of you here, like this, and then just put a piece of card in front of what you're, in front of your page. So even if you do look down, you can't see what you're drawing. And just look at what you're drawing and just, you don't have to take your pen, keep your pen on the paper, but it's easier to do if it's easier if you do. So there's like, I can see one of these and I can see a ribbon coming down and there's a knot with a bit of ribbon. And then there's like this hexagonal thing, which has got a pattern on it, which is like in the middle here. It's kind of like a lily almost. And then there's like some Chinese writing, which I can't replicate, but it kind of looks a bit like that, and a swishy bit and a leg. And then there's like a ladder thing here, like that. Yes, that's the point of it. It helps you see. It's not about learning to draw, it's about helping you see. Because 9 times out of 10, you look at something and then you draw what you think you looked at. Whereas if you're blind drawing and you're not looking at what you're drawing, you're just drawing by looking at the object, you're forced to keep looking at the object. So by the time you go, oh, there's that. Oh, no, hang on a minute. That's not a straight line. Actually, it's curved. And because you haven't taken your pen off the paper, you go back in and go, oh, okay, there's the top. Oh no, it's curved like that. And then it comes in, right? So you edit it as you go almost. But yeah. Sketchbooks are not for drawing. Sketches are for practice. You can do, that's not true, you can do drawings in sketchbooks. I've done drawings in sketchbooks. I've specifically set out to finish a piece, like my lion. And sometimes it works, like my lion, and I will be able to scan him and digitally enhance him, and actually he'll work really well. But the number of times that happens is probably 1 in 50. The rest of the time, this mess is what I've got. And if I do something like this on a page, I don't erase it. I leave it there. I will just draw over the top of it, or paint over the top of it, or, you know, I might leave this here and just do some more. I might just go in with different coloured pencils and draw different things. Or I might go in with different pens. Like I might actually erase them, but go in with a pen, and like this is like just literally what I was just doing. So just going back over what I drew, not trying to fix it, just going back over what I've already drawn. And then there was this here and this here. And then erase the pencil. And then I might get a blue one for this one. And I might go, okay, where did I start? There's where I started. So I went across there and across there and across here. And I did some shading. And then I took it down here and I came back up. And I did a circly bit, and then there's this bit sticking over the top, and then there's this bit down here, and then this is all shaded, and then I came down and did this bit, and then I might erase, and then I'll go over it with another colour. You know, that's what these coloured pens are for. This is what I like to do. So I might get a, what should we use? Let's use a green. Grab a green. Coke can's green, 7-Up can's green, so circle. And if you don't know what you see, I'm struggling not to look at my book. If you don't know, there we go. If you're not sure what to do next, just keep going around until you figure out. So it's got a top, and it's got kind of a double top, and then it's got kind of a big lip here that's kind of dark, and then it's got a bit here, but inside there's like a circular bit, and then above it there's like it's almost like a rounded rectangle. So that's the top of the can. And then if you need to come out, so I need to go from the middle out, so I just take it a straight line like that. And go, right, okay, so from this circle I'm going down, and then there's this bit here which comes up like that, and then down this side and round the bottom, and then up, and it joins back up that side, so that's kind of like that. And then there's like a logo here, and you can see this bit of the logo here, and then there's like a circular bit here, and that's all coloured in. And then up at the top here, there's like a little bit that's like a slice of lime, like that. And that's what I end up with. And, well, that's what I was looking at. And when you look at what I was looking at, you can make sense of it. See, you can see that, yeah, that's what I was drawing. There's the little bit of line. There's the circle that's shaded in. There's the 7 shape. There's the circle at the top. There's the line of the side. There's the curve at the bottom. This bit I got stuck on because I didn't know what to do. If I'd just left it, it would have been okay, because this bit would have been here, and then I would have come back in and done, oh, and there's the lip that's all dark, and then there was this big rectangular piece, and then there's a circle in it, and then there's a little bit of a rectangular bit, see? And then that would have been more, that's almost exactly where it should be, actually. You can see it there. So if I hadn't still stalled on this would be recognisable as a Coke can. I love drawing with waffles. Rin is awesome. Rin is fantastic, and she uses a sketchbook how you should use a sketchbook. She has her sketchbook and she uses it to work out ideas like this, and then she goes and gets her proper piece of paper and she redraws the best bits of what she's done in her sketchbook. So like this, she'd be working out these, then she'd go, okay, let's draw the newt, and she'll turn over and she'll be like, okay, let's draw the newt, sketch him out, work out the colours, change the pose, should we do it this, should we do it that, maybe his eyes need to be bigger, whatever. So she'll have a page of rough sketches and she'll decide which bits she likes best. Then she'll get her proper piece of paper and she'll redraw what she actually wants until she's got a completed illustration. And that is what a sketchbook is for. Yes, there are people like myself and Bun and Courtney who like to have a completed page. As in, I couldn't just leave this like this. I'd have to fill the page with lots of different sketches. This is okay, but I would definitely come back in and add some extra notes and things like that so that the page looks finished rather than just like, oh, I did some scribbles and then I abandoned it. So like this one, I might do lots of these different things. This sketch I might ink in properly, so I could actually get my proper inks and actually ink this one in properly. And then I could write at the bottom, blind contouring of my master slave light. Because it's one of those big, it's got an uplighter with a slave light that you can bend around. Probably don't call them master slave lights. Oh gosh! That's horribly racist, isn't it? Let's not call it a... Let's call it something else. Parent-child. There we go, that's better, isn't it? Parent-child light. So it's got a main light at the top, and then it's got a link, a little one at the bottom. Parent-child light. I'm renaming them, Argos. There we go. Job done. Yeah. So I could write a note on that. I could put the date on it. I could put that it's part of a YouTube stream or whatever. And then that's that page done. It's complete. Doesn't complete, finished, done, doesn't mean amazing or perfect. If it did, we wouldn't have lots of different words for it. For me, finished means I'm done messing with it. I don't need to mess with it anymore. I know what I'm doing. So for this one, all I really need to do now, I might grab my Tombow, which is a bit thicker, and I might take these and... Okay, so the bat is pink, so the bat would be here. And I might draw around it to draw attention to the fact that that's the one I want. I'm drawing written sideways, so I might as well carry on writing sideways. The newt. The moth. I like that purple for the moth. I like this green better than this green, but I think I used the wrong green. I think it should have been kelp. This is the colour that I was looking for. Oh, that's the same colour. That is the colour I picked up. Okay. So that one has to be watered down to be the right colour. So I would use this one for the frog because it's a little bit more mottled, and I like the mottled colour. And then this one, this blue, actually, if you take the red away, I actually like this blue. This is the one I want to achieve, but scan this one, and I can adjust. This one scans better, so I'll adjust it to be that colour. They are actually completely different colours. They don't look like it. They don't look like it at all. Bats are a trigger right now. Why? Bats are cool. So this is the one I'll actually use, but this is the colour I want. So I'll box both those together and I'll put Raven. And then, which one am I missing? The cat. So do I want a bright red, which will clash with these colours, or do I want to go for the muted purple? See, here's an easy way of picking a colour. So shall I take that colour out? The red stands out too much. If I take the red out, that looks like a colour combination that works. So this can be the cat. And I can always tweak it to make it a little bit more red. This pink is a little bit more vibrant. Because of the pandemic, it was a joke. Oh. Maybe if you'd said chicken, it might have been funny. Because chickens is where it came from, but I don't know. Didn't really follow that one, sorry. That one went whoosh! So yeah, that's what I'm going to do with that. And then what I think I'm going to do this month, the drawing stuff for class, the Thursday and Saturday drawings, we're going to draw some of these. So we've already done cats, and we've already done, was it frogs or birds we've already done? I think we've already done ravens, haven't we? Shh. And we might even have drawn bats already. I will have to check. But we've certainly got newts and moths we can do this month. So that'll be fun, just doing something that's kind of a black and white with a coloured background, which we've not done in ages. So that's what we're going to be doing in class this month, because I need to do these, but I'm not in any rush to do them like today or anything like that. It needs to be done, but this month will do. And then once we've done them, I can scan them and show you how to digitally alter them to make them fit what you actually want them to be as a cohesive set, if you were like making icons or stickers or something like that. That'd be fun, right? So if you're interested in that, that's over on my Patreon or over on my website, either or. It's both the same stuff, it's just different ways of paying. The links are over there in that top corner and down there in the bar. The Ruru wants his tea. Yes, Ruru wants his tea. Scoob, you want a snack? Oh, he's gone outside. He wants Scooby snacks, Miss Maddie. Do you want Scooby snacks? She wants Scooby snacks. Yeah, it's tea time. Yeah, if you're interested in joining us, you can come on over. You don't have to pay for the whole year or anything like that. You can pay for 1 month at a time if you fancy doing it. And of course, now we have Super Chat enabled. You can also donate during live streams, which is awesome. That seems to work. Thank you to the people who have donated during this live stream. I've already said thank you to them each personally, but to round it off, thank you very much. Much appreciated. And if you just want to donate as and when you feel like it, because you don't want to have to pay tax on $1, which is ridiculous, my coffee link is down there. Feel free to just buy me a coffee the next time you're at Starbucks. That's perfectly fine. Coffee is much appreciated as well. That's what we run on. Yeah, Super Chat is really cool. I might have to do some icons and stuff. I mean, I've got icons and stuff here, so I could shrink these down so that, because you can have stickers and select Super Chat stickers and stuff like that come up in chat. So if you donate, you can select a sticker to have. I think that'd be kind of cool. It's a little bit Twitch-like, but not quite Twitch. Speaking of which, Twitch will be back soon, but not this week. I'm a little bit snowed under with One Book July and all the Patreon stuff, and now I've done all the Patreon stuff, I've got to do all the other admin that normally gets done at the beginning of the month and the end of the month, and I've got to catch up on all that, and that's why we have an admin week. So yeah, Tuesday the 7th we start over on Patreon. We always start the first Tuesday of the month. So you've got plenty of time to join in if you want to. And if you're already over there, don't forget double check your tiers, double check what you're getting for your tier, and make sure you've selected the right reward, because I have shuffled some things around. It's basically the same, but I've updated all the descriptions and stuff. Burgess, thank you so much. Thank you for my coffee. That's very good of you. Oh, you've got a coffee chat sticker. Huh. How about that? She's got a coffee sticker. Isn't that cool? Well, I think I've figured out the issue with Twitch. My issue, you know, I've had an ongoing issue with YouTube where I'd go into the channel dashboard on Chrome and it would just be empty and I couldn't get anything on it. So I had to use Safari, and it just happened out of nowhere, and it only happened on this computer. I updated my operating system on this computer from I used to have the 10.10 to 10.12, and now I've updated it to the 10.13 to 10.15, which is the one that the Chrome is supposed to match, and now it all works. So I'm thinking maybe that's the problem that I was having with Twitch, because it's all done on a web browser. It's not done through other stuff. It's all done on a web browser through Streamlabs and OBS. So I'm thinking that might be the problem. So I think that will fix the issue, because I was having this. That was the problem I was having with Twitch. I would go in, nothing would work, nothing would be there, half the buttons weren't there. I couldn't do anything, and if I did manage to do something, it didn't send out notifications because it didn't recognise that I was online. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Anyway, thank you for joining me. We have overrun significantly. It's been quite a long, chatty one, so I do appreciate those of you who stuck with me today. I shouldn't have done the sketchbook flip. I should have filmed the sketchbook flip separate and then come to it and said, right, I'm starting a new sketchbook today. Here we go. And yes, this is a similar size, just to point it out. This is a similar size to this one. However, this is proper sketchbook moleskin paper, and I don't have another one of these on the go. I've finished the other one. I've finished all the others. I don't have any spare pages in any of them anymore. So this one is what was left of one, and I've put it into a soft cover so I can finish it. How old is my computer? I think it's a mid-2011 MacBook. I don't know. I can't have Catalan. I can have High Sierra and Mojave. But I tried Mojave and I didn't like it. It was a bit too much of a change, and some of the stuff that I've got didn't work. So I went back. I upgraded from Sierra to High Sierra. I liked High Sierra, so I upgraded to Mojave, but I didn't like Mojave, so I rolled it back. Does that make sense? See you, Cody. Thank you, Susan. Thank you for the donation. That is fantastic. Really appreciate it. That's me set for coffee for the rest of the month. As soon as I get my car started, I can go get coffee from the drive-through. Yeah. Maybe I'll save up for a coffee machine. Maybe I'll do that, and then I can have drive-through coffee anytime I want from my coffee machine, and I can buy fancy coffee pods to go in it. Maybe I'll do that, and then I don't have to go out for coffee, and that's even better. One Book July next week, we'll be doing the creative journal, which will be, mine is based in Animal Crossing, but it is very much a fantasy, made-up kind of journal. Oh, and by the way, Evelyn and I finally figured it out. The thing that Ros Stendhal used to do, where you literally made up a journal for April, is called Fake Journal Month. So that's the kind of thing I'm doing, and that's what I'll be doing next week. Go look it up, Fake Journal Month. It's on Ros Stendhal's blog. She's got lots of examples. She's done a fictional farmer. She did an Alice in Wonderland. She did from the point of view of her dog. Lots of other people have done it. It was always really good fun. And I'm doing it from the point of view of my Animal Crossing character. So that'll be fun next week. I've just got a few pages to catch up on. And I've got to go and do my roots now. And have some food and feed the dogs. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again very soon. Bye, guys.